Hey guys, and welcome to season 17 of Spine Chill. I'm one of your co-hosts, John Wolf, here with another co-host, Gary the Hot Cross.
Hello.
And we're here with our 18-time recurring guest, Doug, Running Man.
Hello. Next time I'm gonna make stupid noises, make a fool of myself, and then see if you still copy me, Doug.
You should never tip your hand to a jokester. Is all I'm
No,
gonna say.
I'm gonna do it, and you're gonna be like, "No, I'm not gonna do that," and then I'm gonna win.
Is that what you think winning is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hi.
Well,
It's nice to be here. I'm excited to talk about horror Asym, especially. We got some good stuff to talk about today. So.
Spine Chill, the number one Asym horror podcast and number one DVD podcast as a result. But we're very thankful to all of our fans, especially the ones in Romania. Even though we don't mention you every episode,
We should look if we're number one anywhere else. We may have popped off and grown.
That's true. We should check the stats.
We don't mention them every episode, but not an episode goes by that we forget about you, Romania.
Oh, yeah,
we
yeah.
promise.
No, we
We
promise.
promise.
Yeah. In fact, we might have to make a dedicated text channel in our Discord. The population is so high.
Oh, we should.
We should.
The Spine Chill podcast Discord server.
Wait, Discord? Did you say Discord, John?
I did. Oh, did you
Okay.
not know about the Discord? We have
Tell
a
me-
Spine Chill Discord.
Yeah, tell me
I've got-
more.
I've got to say, it's been popping off in there.
It has been. Over 300 members and growing. Feel free to join the Discord. There should be an invite link wherever you're listening or watching. Check it out. Join the Spine Chill Discord. You can talk about any Asym horror game that you want. Doesn't have to be just Dead by Daylight. Could be VHS, Evil Dead, Ghostbusters Spirit Unleashed. I mentioned it this time. Any Asym horror game. of
Resident
your
Evil
choosing.
Resistance.
That'll be
Maybe
in the
not.
other. That's in the other category.
Yeah, we have another category for just such a game, Gary.
Yeah, and trust me, you guys get to see some exclusive John Wolf Ghostbusters burns in the Ghostbusters channel. So if you guys enjoy John roasting Ghostbusters, you can get that outside of the podcast content.
You don't want to miss me posting a tumbleweed gif in the Ghostbusters text channel.
Made me laugh, John. I don't know about everybody else. but-
Maybe love as well, yeah.
Oh. But yeah, we actually have a little bit to talk about with Ghostbusters today, don't we? A little
I
bit.
We
said-
do
a lot.
indeed.
I'd say a lot. So something
Oh.
crazy. Gary has news to break to me about Ghostbusters. Something I don't know about. Gary knows about.
I think it'll make Doug very
Wow.
happy, so I haven't told him about it yet.
We're going to get to see Doug's reaction live.
And John, you're gonna lose your shit over it.
Oh,
Because
I
you know you're
can
the
hardly
biggest
wait.
Ghostbuster fan here.
I'm waiting with bated breath to hear the Ghostbusters news. We actually have a lot of DVD to talk about today, too. There was a new patch that went through this week, and we've talked about the upcoming changes when they hadn't been implemented yet. But now they're actually in the live game. So we'll be talking about that. We have some, I believe, Evil Dead to talk about. And
Bit of
what am I
Propnight.
missing? Propnight. Yes.
You're missing one other notable horror Asym, John.
Oh, no. Is it Home Sweet Home Survive? They do have the upcoming full release.
No, we'll be talking about them a lot in quarter two. Are you intentionally just forgetting about
What?
VHS, or is it just an organic
Are we?
forgetting about
Is there something about
VHS?
VHS to talk about, or are you
There's
just
a lot to talk about
What?
They had a. I
Doug,
talked
in
about
fairness,
it. I
you
talked
didn't
about
men-
it last season. They're
But you didn't-
they're having a dev blog.
I don't remember this.
But I did a little rundown
the
of what we're going to be
devlog.
talking about today, Doug, and you forgot about VHS. I'll
You know,
add it in.
I know. I will share. I have notes. I have VHS notes that I made
Yeah, but
on
I
the
just-
devlog.
I don't care.
I
about
told
your
you,
notes.
Gary. Okay, guys.
I'm the producer here.
When we were meeting, when John was AFK before we started recording, and you and I were meeting about the episode, I literally told you I watched the devlog and I made notes of it so that I could talk about the tack mark by tack mark.
Look, you can't hold this against me. I'm like most people. I don't give a shit about VHS.
Fair, tough, but fair. Okay, but yeah, I have a lot to talk about when it comes to VHS, and I made.
I always feel too mean saying that because I do like VHS.
I don't dislike I love VHS, and so again, we have a lot to talk about.
For any other VHS fans out there, for the two of you listening, we do have some VHS news, and we'll be talking about that after DVD.
Hey there.
So, before we get into that, let's do a little fireside chat. How was y'all's week?
Week's been pretty good. Played a lot of Dead by Daylight, to be honest.
Me too.
Doug?
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah?
I
All right, on the same
played
page?
a ton of sorry. I played a ton of DVD. Yeah.
That sentence would make no sense.
because of the lunar event, which for whatever reason has gripped me something fierce. Like I'm having a blast with the lunar event. I only streamed DBD this week, and typically I will mix in, a lot of the other horror Asyms. I've been doing that a lot over the last few months, which I think kind of is helping me keep DBD fresh. But this week, I genuinely just felt compelled to only play DBD, despite the fact that I'm 100% achievements. I have no other. The only thing I have left to do in the game is Prestige 100. Like I don't have any other progression in the game. I finished the event the first day I streamed it, but like I was still just having so much fun playing DBD that I just kept playing. So. Whoops.
I'm kind of the same. I really like, because I did the event, like, first day, got all the items, but I really like stealing envelopes from other people.
Yeah.
I really like getting to them
points for them.
Yeah.
I think I got over 10,000 on one of them. I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was hitting like 50 and 60K points total as Survivor in games because when people would stack envelopes, it was great. This is great. And I don't know if and we'll probably talk more about the update with the solo queue icons and some of the meta shift type stuff that's been kind of happening. Maybe has also contributed to the amount of fun that I'm having, because it doesn't feel like this event to me is like miserable like some of the other ones have been, where like games have felt like unplayably sweaty.
I haven't felt that shift that usually happens. Well, when there's an event, killers, it's mostly killers, become really, really nasty. Haven't seen the shift this time. It just seems like everyone's just still playing. Maybe even a little nicer.
Yeah.
Well, part of that might be because MMR was really wonky this week, right?
Yeah, I think MMR is. So I do think something's going on with MMR.
Okay, so all of us have had this experience then. That's good to hear, because I had some really weird killers when I was playing Survivor, and vice versa when I was playing Killer.
Same. Yeah, I had some really strange matches, and when I was streaming it, people in chat were like, yeah, MMR is like, I don't know if it's off, but everybody's getting weird matches. It kind of feels like it used to before MMR, so it's kind of been nice, but I've been enjoying it, frankly. That might have something to do with why the event feels fun.
That could be it, because I had a Wraith that whiffed like 100 times. I had a Pig that whiffed a lot. I had a Legion that couldn't protect a 3-gen on Eerie of Crows.
Impossible. Yeah.
Well, I could also have another theory about why my games have been a lot of fun. Because I've kind of been going off on a little bit of a villain arc and running basically the sweatiest stuff I can as a solo survivor to see how that impacts my escape rates. And let me tell you, business has been good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
We're going to hear about Doug's villain arc.
What have you been taking? I'm guessing resilience and...
No. So my stock build is dead hard, hyper focus, stake out, and prove thyself.
Okay.
And my goal is to either waste as much time as possible if I'm getting chased between dead hard, throwing pallets early, comp cornering to take them away from where the gens are, and then if I even get a moment to myself, I am slamming gens. I am just so gen focused. Like it's kind of been fun to try and because we'll discuss this probably more in detail, but I feel like we discussed a lot last week about how the creative direction with behavior feels like it's kind of pushing more towards competitive balance. Mm-hmm. And so basically I just said, hold my red envelope. I'm gonna play as competitive as humanly possible as a solo survivor. And I did do some experimenting with Killer as well. I have a confession to make. I did run Eruption for 2 streams this week to test it out.
Harry, do we need to get a new recurring guest for next week, or?
Oh, you might.
Doug,
we have one rule. One rule, Doug. No eruption.
Okay, well, I won't run it again. I won't.
No. I want to know why. Because
we
literally last week were all saying how we don't run eruption because we're fun havers. We're not going to be part of the problem. And then the next day, you equipped eruption.
Something happened, man. I got hurt. My feelings got hurt.
What happened?
My feelings got hurt, dude.
What did they say in the post-game lobby?
I feel like this might have been one of the rare times where I started in the post-game lobby. Not that.
Oh, you did the Gary.
Whoa.
Oh, I did the Gary. So I was running no slowdown. I was running off meta killers. I was like, let's have some fun. And I don't think I won a game for like 2 straight streams. It was just getting dunked on after dunked on. The gens were popping and flying. and they're all running the build that I was running on Survivor. There's a bunch of hyper focuses and prove thyself and toolboxes, and it's like, and that's fine. That's what you have to do, right? They're doing what they have to do. But I got into one of those games where I won like 9 or 10 chases, and I only got 4 hooks because they were just, again, I was winning chases and I was pressuring gens, and this is without slowdown. But like anytime I even considered the option of hooking a Survivor, there was sabos, there was breakouts, there was flashlights, there was those, and it's like, again, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But I just could not handle it anymore. I'm like, this, if I had slowdowns, I wouldn't have lost this game, because that's the only reason why you guys were able to have your, which what they described in post-game chat was chill Swift. It was a chill Swift, they said. We're not on comms. We're having a chill Swift. I was like, is that what chill feels like to you guys? Because that was miserable for me.
I'm feeling chilled out right now.
Yeah. So I mentioned to them.
Sweat dripping down their faces.
I mentioned to them that it wouldn't have been so chill if I was running the meta, and that maybe chill groups like that are why killers feel so compelled to run meta perks all the time, because then they can have their own version of a chill game. So
I mean,
again,
it's a fair point that the sweaty survivors, make killers want to be sweaty and vice versa. So it's like a cycle of misery.
Vicious cycle, yeah.
I'm not walking back statements made last season, okay? Like, I do agree, the switch is imperative if you're going to run, even if you're running meta builds. Like, you can't run the meta and then just face camp the first guy you catch. I'm not going to become an eruption main now from testing it out, although, that perk is fun for one side, for sure.
Yeah.
I got an incredible 3-man eruption that saved me from a 3-gen situation. But I was also playing as Hillbilly on Shattered Square, so it's like, we're not the guy that's running Blight, Nurse, Spirit, full slowdown, camping from the first hook. Like, there's still, you guys still got to self-regulate, but sometimes running, and I know, John, you still run Call of Brine Overcharge pretty regularly when you play Killer, correct? Like, you're still running.
So do I. It's part of my Nemesis build.
Yeah, you're running strong slowdown, and that's okay. And like, I think that there's a middle ground. But I did run Eruption, Overcharge, Call of Brine, and Scourge Pain Res for an entire stream.
All 4.
I know, it was so gross, and it really was. I really do understand why people do it.
Did you lose any games?
I did. I did. I had to scrape a few times for a 2K. I did get 4 out in one time. But that's the thing, though, is like 1 4 out in a full session.
That's pretty good.
How does it feel knowing that full escape was all your fault?
Oh, it feels, and it feels great. Gary, you and I talked about this on, I think it was Friday night. We talked about, I told you in confidence, but I'll talk to everybody about it now, just how much I wish they would implement, just for me personally, my personality, I wish they would implement like a full sweat playlist, like a playlist that's ranked, where people are expected to play as hard as physically possible to try and win. Because I love to play that way.
Well, I think we've discussed this in the past, Doug, about, and I think you've been against the idea in the past because it would split the player base.
Yeah.
And I've always been on the fence. How do you feel about that idea, John? If there being a casual mode and a ranked mode?
I would have been against it a couple years ago, but I think the DVD player base is so large now, and queue times are generally so good on most hours of the day that I think they could do it. If it's just casual ranked, I don't think DBD has the space for a separate game mode at the moment, but I think they could split it in half and be fine.
How would you change it? Because obviously you can't have it like casual mode can't have all of the perks and stuff, surely, and can't have the same blood point rewards.
Right. Yeah, because what's to stop people from being ultra sweaty and being like, I think I'll just play in casual.
Yeah, it's like Overwatch and stuff. Like whenever you play those games, it's like the sweats go into casual just to bully people occasionally.
Well, it's like whenever we play Rainbow Six Siege, I swear to God, the casual playlist or whatever it's called in that game is sweatier than ranked. Because I've played ranked too, and it's like all the tryhards go in that one because they're just, they're like, I'll just bully the people that are here to have a chill time, and they're chill swift.
Yeah. The chill swifts.
Yeah. See, I'm glad you guys said that before I did, because that was what I was gonna say too. It's like if they were gonna do that, they'd have to just like hyper micromanage what you could actually do in casual, and maybe even make a perk list or something. I don't know.
Would you do a perk roulette?
Well, I think a cool idea would be maybe to like, have, I think I mentioned to Gary when we were talking about this, like just for the fun of it, we were talking about what if you like went in and people had to like quick pick their perks because you weren't allowed to double perks up. So people be like, I got to get proof myself first, or
like we have to lock in like Evil Dead, get your character quick.
Just
quick
insta lock dead hard. Like, and it's got to like hurry up and do it. Like, I think that there's a lot of really interesting and fun things they could do if they did go with and they wouldn't have to change anything for ranked, right? All they'd have to do is call the playlist we play in now ranked,
right?
And be like, you're expected to sweat in this one. They're already balancing the game around competitive, right? It feels like
it would solve the problem, and it would. I tell you what, it would be interesting because behavior loves stats. Mm-hmm. It would be interesting to see how many players go with the ranked mode and how many go with the casual.
Yeah,
I think in order to motivate people to play ranked too, I think there would have to be some kind of ladder climb to it other than the grade system. So
Gary,
I think
discuss this.
It would really help if they made MMR visible for that one. I mean, MMR has been in the game for so long now. Like, what are they afraid of? Just show it already.
So one thing that I thought would be cool for ranked was imagine if every season you ranked up individual killers in ranked. So you could like, to kind of like for a point of pride, be like, I'm going to get to rank 1 clown this season, and it was played in ranked mode where games are going to be sweaty, they're going to be hard. You can make pipping harder, you can make it more challenging, you could limit killers by season. So like maybe monthly it would be a season, right? So this season, like maybe Trapper and Myers would always be available, but like you wouldn't be able to just carry yourself to rank 1 playing Blight or playing Nurse. Right. You could get rank 1 Blight, but the value wouldn't really be there. It's like, great, everybody should be a rank 1 Blight, it's easy.
I've got another idea. Could they increase, so rather than making it a month thing, make it like, I think Fortnite does it every 3 months, right? That's their season.
Yeah, they could.
Could you do something similar to that? You know how, so behavior obviously has those, they're blue again. When you finish the rift, you can unlock the special ones at the end of the rift where they're blue.
The deep rift.
Would it be an interesting idea to motivate people to do ranked, that you could maybe make some gold versions of that if you can get to rank 1?
Exclusive recolors would be all they would need to get people to play it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then full blood point reward, obviously, and then in casual. I mean, even especially if you had a gold reward or something like a cosmetic, you could just leave casual to be the same blood points the way it is.
So what if in casual they had no MMR, and I'm just spitting out ideas, right? And what if instead of them like changing it to where you couldn't, like, because they could be like, you talked about how people would just play sweaty and casual, right? Like guys would go in. What if you just got rid of the DC penalty and then had them fill people in? Kind of like in Overwatch. Because in Overwatch...
Oh, perfect. Yeah, do that.
When you play quick play in Overwatch, you can leave at any time and just re-queue, and there's no penalty. And then it just fills somebody in. So if they could find a way to like fill survivors and fill killers, like if you went into quick casual and you were like Trapper, you're like, I'm going to fuck around with Trapper this week. And they were just like a full gen rush, sweat, like map offering. You just DC. I don't want to play it.
I don't know about filling killers. I wouldn't want to be playing killer and get filled into a match. I'd be annoyed to be filled into a match where 4 gens have already gone.
Then go play ranked.
Well,
then go play ranked.
Well, it's. I think also.
I think it's easy just to like
backfill for killer might be a little difficult because like, would it be an instant fill? I feel like there would be some wait time, and if there's any wait time at all, the survivors could just be like, "Well, time to pop a couple gens," and then
I guess you could not backfill killer and you could backfill survivor.
Yeah, backfill survivor, I'm very on board with.
Because that makes.
Let's be honest. Yeah. Survivors DCing is the bigger problem because they're the ones that get like the disadvantage. If a killer DCs, you just go, okay, move on to the next one.
Yeah. I assume that if they backfill survivor, the survivor will come in with the same amount of hook states that the person that DC'd
yes.
had.
Yeah. Which could be annoying.
That would have to.
At that point, because you're playing survivor, which is pretty chill, switch your brain off anyway. How angry will you get? And if you do get angry, as Doug said, competitive. Go play.
I feel like we literally just solved the problem because like if you just get rid of DC penalties and get rid of MMR, people can play. And again, maybe like maybe not a reduction in blood points for casual, but like a boost in blood points, like always a 150 or always 200 in ranked. Like to give people.
If you were to do this, you could boost the shit out of the DC penalty in comp.
Yeah, you could really punish people,
You can really
right?
punish people for that.
Yeah.
Half an hour. Because they could just go play casual if they
Half
DC
an
out
hour.
of ranked.
Yeah, true. I mean, like
Well,
that's kind of how Siege is.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like in Rainbow
You
Six
get
Siege,
really punished in Siege.
if you team kill and quick play, it's just like, well, that was kind of shitty for you to do, but you know, you're kicked out of the game. Go ahead and requeue. But if you team kill and ranked, it's like half an hour. You can't do shit.
I think it's an hour.
Is it?
I think
remember
wasn't because when we did one of our stupid things where we blew each other up with grenades.
Well, yeah, we put like a C4 at our feet and we blew up the entire team.
I think it blamed Max and banned him for an hour.
Oh yeah, it was a long time though. But yeah, they would just have to be ruthless like that.
Sounds deserved to me.
Yeah, no, it was
It's
deserved.
really funny.
But yeah, I think
just
that's what I do in
shocking.
Overwatch. That's what I do in Overwatch. If you DC during a ranked game, you have like a 10 minute. It's like 10 minutes or something like that. 15 minutes on the first one, and that's if you DC like your internet has a hiccup or you just you had a bad day. Like it's an immediate big one. You can go back into quick play until you've served out your penalty. And I've never DC'd from an Overwatch match on purpose. I did DC because of my internet one time, and I had to wait like 10 or 15 minutes. I don't remember. And I did. I just had to suffer through quick play until I was done. But I'm assuming that those continue to like exponentially get worse if you keep rage quitting because you're ruining the game for everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can start what you can do if you get multiple DCs in a day. If you do a second one, you go, well, it's not just. It's like now you're half an hour, banned from playing, and we're going to de-rank you a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, but that's the whole point. I'm playing ranked is to rank up, so I shouldn't DC.
Yeah.
You know what
Perfect.
would also be interesting is if there would be a way to get the sweaties out of casual via the report system. Like, because I know that there's going to be people out there that like they don't care about any of the rewards or anything. They just want to make someone else have a bad time, and they go into casual and their goal is to make everyone's life.
There's no
miserable.
DC penalty. I don't care.
Yeah, they can't.
Right.
I agree. Don't even worry about reporting. I will literally, nope, out of games so fast.
Imagine you go up against like one of those nurses that start trying to bleed everyone out. You just DC. Bye.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't have to play this match with you anymore.
Bye.
Now in comp, you'd have to. You'd be stuck with them.
Yeah.
I know.
Now you
Yeah.
chose the Q code.
I just think it'd be funnier if that nurse one time was just like, I'm gonna queue up in casual with my 4 slowdown nurse, and then they're like, what? It won't let me. I have to go into ranked now. Oh no!
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun.
On that point though, does that mean that competitive, the ranked mode would just be Blight's nurse?
That's why I mentioned the idea of having rotating killer pools by month,
yeah.
like who you could play, or individual rewards for individual killers.
There is another solution to like stop making, because I think this could be another alternative to fixing some of the problems DBD has regarding matches at the moment. You could change the MMR system and how you rank up to be back to pips.
I wish that would. Okay, we can talk about that in this hypothetical. That's probably never going to happen with ranked and casual.
Yeah, this is a dream
this
world
will
we're
never
creating.
I would be
This will
so
never happen.
stoked, but it's never going to happen. But I think that a real honest thing that could happen, and I would love to see happen, is exactly what Gary just said. Moving away from kills and escapes as MMR dictators and moving back towards emblems being more of what matchmaking is dictated on. Like, you can still have an MMR that's based around the emblem system, I feel like.
The black pip is like no MMR change. D pip is obviously you lose MMR. Then pip 1 and pip 2 can be yes MMR.
Yeah. I feel like it's a better indication of how well you did in a match than kills and escapes for sure.
I would agree.
It's like I played against a knight last week that like he just like face camped and hit people on hook, and he ended with I think like I don't know, a 2K or something like that. So he got a couple kills. Maybe it was a 3K. I can't remember. But he ended with less points than all of the survivors, even the ones that he tunneled out. And I was just like, he should deep it for that. Like, he should lose MMR for that.
There's no way that should be considered a win.
Right.
Right? As a player.
Yeah. Or
It probably didn't feel like a win to them.
And again, a lot of these wins shouldn't be wins. Like, I was talking to a friend about this yesterday. If you're consistently winning games as killer with 4 gens up or 3 gens up, like, you're not playing DBD somehow. Yeah. Like the progression of the game and where the game's at in its life cycle, and again, when I was running Eruption, and I was going like I said, I was trying to win games. Most of my games that I won there were either 1 or 2 gens left. And I wasn't running NOED. And I was winning some games at endgame without NOED. My point being that, like, they were still full games of DBD.
Yeah.
Wins,
I would
right?
say, I would say the majority of my hooks come when there's 1 to 2 gens left.
Yeah.
Like,
agreed. Because the game's gotten time to progress. And
Right.
it's actually, you've actually played DBD.
Like, pallets are gone, gens are closer together.
Like, people getting
sense.
I feel like a lot of killer players get like stressed out when they're down to 2 or 1 gens, but like that should be a baseline thing in trials.
Well, it's weird because the way DBD is at the moment, when you're playing solo queue survivor at least, that last gen usually takes forever to get done.
It takes ages, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, like that's good. The game slows down as it progresses.
Right. It makes it makes the match more exciting because it feels closer when there's 1 gen left, even if it's not. Even if you all even if you all die before you get that last gen done. Yeah.
And again, if matchmaking, if wins and losses go back to being dictated off of the pip system, off the emblem system, right? Doesn't that sort of kind of shove the game back towards being hooks over kills? Since you're gonna almost
it would basically solve most of the problems.
You hook every survivor twice, and they they power that last gen out, and you're not running NOED, and they all get out. Like, you're still almost always going to save.
You're going to see at least a single pip out of that situation.
A lot of time, an 8-hook game, a lot of times is going to be a pip, unless they just jammed gens out too fast for you to get Lightbringer or to get what is it? What's the one for killer to stop gens? Lightbringer is the survivor version. Gatekeeper, yeah. Is it Gatekeeper?
I think it's Gatekeeper.
Tell us in the comments, people. Teach the game to us.
Feel free to correct us.
I don't know, man. Like, we might have just fixed DVD just now.
We might have just, that was easy.
We weren't even expecting to.
That was less than a half-hour meeting.
You're welcome, behavior. You're welcome.
This wasn't even on our notes, man. We just got here with the fireside chat, dude. Like, okay. So, we want to talk about Swift, or?
Well, we can talk about Swift, or we can talk about STBFL.
Did we already talk about the patch? Where are we?
I was about to say we
haven't. Oh yeah, the patch.
Producer Gary, King John. Where are we at?
Can I just say I like how every time I've been like, let's do a fireside chat before we start talking about DBD. How is everyone's week? And then we just start immediely talking about DBD.
It's because our week is us playing DBD.
That's true.
Which we love talk about teaching this week. Oh well, I had to wake up at 7 a.m. every day.
You know what? The spine chillers don't want to hear about that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I had 4 quarter-pound McDonald's burger patties before we started the podcast. You guys want to talk about that, or do we want to talk about
bro? What was it called?
It was really, really good. Actually,
did you get any pictures, bro?
Yeah, I sent them to you.
Yeah, let's see the pictures.
Okay, new patch.
New patch. Oh yes. Okay, so they implemented stuff from the PTB a few weeks ago that we already covered in a previous season, but now it's in the live game. So the Nerf is live.
The nurse change.
The nurse change is live. The night change is live.
The night buff.
Yeah. Although the knights are playing exactly like they were before. But and then we've got the Survivor Activity HUD change as well.
The new UI.
What else am I missing?
Area of Crows,
the new lunar event.
Area of Crows rework.
Area of Crows map, which by the way I love
a lot. Yeah, I like the new Area of Crows, and you guys know I hated Area of Crows before. I like it now.
And I liked Area of Crows before, and I still like the new one.
Yeah, I think we can comfortably slide Area of Crows up into like the C tier in the map. I mean, we'll have to revisit the maps at some point, but I think it's definitely out of D tier now. So.
Oh, it's definitely out of D tier. It's higher than C tier now.
I don't think so.
I think we need to give it some more time before we can definitively say.
Because Caesar opened it beforehand, so I'm like, it must be in like B now.
No,
definitely
Gary.
not.
There was a reason it was changed.
Yeah, sorry, Gary.
Yeah,
it was too good for this world.
All right, so I think if you guys want my quick hits, solo queue icons are dope. Is there something funny, Mister?
If you guys want my quick hits,
I'm just trying to get this. I'm just trying to get information out there.
Run through my opinions.
My opinions are important.
Yeah.
Doug's thoughts on the patch in 60 seconds or less. Go.
Yeah. I'm the killer man. So all right, so quick hits as a killer man. Solo queue survivor icons amazing. They're great. I want them to do more. You guys both know, a lot of people that watch my stream know, I have been lobbying for baseline Kindred since 2020. 2019 maybe. I think Baseline Kindred. I think more information is always better. So Baseline Kindred is a great idea. The gen progress on the icons, I'm in support of it. I like that idea. It's going to be coming soon. They've already confirmed that is coming soon. As of right now, I think that's a big reason why the game feels better, is because of those solo queue icons. The nurse, I have only faced 2 nurses since the patch, and I have played a lot of DVD survivors. So people are not playing the nurse right now at my MMR. So I have faced a fuck ton of knights. They are just as annoying as they were before to play against, to the point that I literally DC'd against one for the first time in like 4 years. I DC'd in a match because of a knight, so we'll admit that. The nurse, I have played a lot of knights since the update. The update does make him better. It's just simple facts. He's stronger now. Still not a strong killer, but stronger. Still really boring to face. Eerie
and
Crows?
time. Just kidding.
It's time for Gary's quick hits.
I'm just a guest here, so if host Gary says time, it's time.
Area of Crows. Go on.
Eerie Crows is better. It's not my favorite map, but I will no longer deeply exhale when I see an offering or when we end up in the map. It's good enough. It's good enough.
Yeah,
it's better. So
yeah.
Overall, not an exciting patch by any stretch, but a W patch. And I think that if the 3 of us collectively, individually, had more fun playing DBD this last week with the new patch than we did the week prior, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
so
but mine, I would like, right. So the new UI stuff, I'm still not over the moon with myself. I think it takes away a bit of the horror vibe of the game, and well, not that I'm really noticing it. I'm not used to looking in the bottom left for that kind of information yet, so I mostly just ignored the UI. It made no difference to me. I doubt it's making that much of a difference to most players. Nurse, as you say, I'm not seeing that many nurses, but she just feels the same when I did go against her a couple of times, and Knight feels basically the same as well. But I will say, this week I've basically not really worried that much about winning. I've kind of given up on that idea of, in solo queue Survivor at least, winning the match. And I think that's what's really helped me enjoy it, because now I'm playing for the Lunar event. I'm enjoying getting the envelopes. I'm just kind of focusing on having fun little moments, head-on, flashbang. So I think, like, I wouldn't say the icons are what's making it better for me. It's that I just don't care about solo queue survival anymore, because it's such a coin toss anyway.
No, your hits really were quick. Damn, that's it? That's all you got? Oh, man.
Well, I just wanted to make my point against, like, I don't think the new UI HUD is what's made it a better week for me.
Have you ever heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect? Maybe you don't know why it feels better, Gary. Maybe it just strangely feels better now.
What could the reason be?
Yeah,
it must be the nurse. It must be the nurse changes. She's come out and had a change, so it must be that nurse is better. She's made the game better for me. I barely noticed the UI, so
I have noticed the UI. I have noticed it in very small ways, very small moments that could have turned into big disasters, where somebody's on a hook, I'm on a gen, I get off the gen, I see my teammates get off the gen, I get back on the gen, they go for the save. And that could have been like a game-turning mistake of, oh god, we're all here at the hook. Myers hits tier 3, we're all down, you know?
Yeah.
And instead, we're popping through gens while someone else is going for the save. So it's the type of thing that's like, all it takes is a quick glance, I look down, aha, and then I'm back on the gen. It doesn't seem in the moment like it's making a big difference, but it's like the vision of what could have been is what makes the big difference to me. So I have still lost plenty of games though, because no amount of information and no amount of icons are going to make bad survivors somehow magically play better. There were tons of potatoes in my games that like they either didn't look at the icons or they just didn't care. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I was playing with Gary, unbeknownst to me, and he was throwing the game. No, but it's still solo queue. Solo queue is gonna solo queue.
Yeah.
It was nice for me as a player that gets really frustrated by moments like I just described, where your lack of information results in a game-turning moment, and it's over. So it was really useful for me, but I did, of course, notice a lot of the survivors. It didn't really make much of a difference for them.
Yeah, I had Meg the other day, and we fittingly put her in our tier list. But I was watching this Meg's icon, and it didn't change.
Oh yeah.
For the longest time, she was just doing nothing useful. And then eventually I was like, oh, she's doing a gen. And I looked closer and it was, no, she's opening a chest.
Yeah. The chest, I've made that mistake too, where I've been like, they're on a gen. And then I'm like, no, it's a chest, damn it. There were many times when I would look down and be like, I'm the only one on a gen right now. And there's only one other person in a chase. What are the other two people doing? The answer is not much.
Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
I am still hopeful that the UI will generally make the game more enjoyable for solo queue, because I'm just not used to looking in the bottom left yet. That's my main point, is that I haven't really gotten used to it yet.
Well, yeah, on that note, I think we do need time for the player base to adapt to this. So that's going to take weeks, maybe months for us to see the full effects of that. These are just first impressions. But I think so far it's done a good job of balancing giving more informative decisions available to the players without affecting the power balance yet.
Yeah. I will say I'm not that excited about the gen progress meter coming in soon. Because I think that's what I'm going to be like. I think I'm going to feel that when I play Killer.
As well, you should.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Gary and I are kind of at odds with this idea. I've been preaching that they should buff solo queue Survivor to the same level as Survivor Friends whenever possible since like 2017 or 2018. Like, I've literally been banging this drum. I can pull clips of me talking about this stuff literally back before I ever even knew you two existed. Like, I've always thought that. I thought
that's okay,
if you're gonna have Swift in the game,
it won't be necessary. We believe you.
I will prove it to you. No, okay, I don't.
It's all right.
No, just hold on. I'm gonna go get the clips now. No, it's just the fact is, like, if they want the game to feel fair to solo queue survivors, to feel fair to killers, to feel fair to Survivor Friends survivors, to all of them, everybody deserves to have the individual trials be as consistent as possible. It's an RNG based party game, okay? It's an RNG based game that can't actually truly be balanced. Right. But if they're gonna try to balance it, you can't balance a game where the majority player base is playing solo. You can't balance the game around Swift.
Yeah.
Around people having information that everybody doesn't already have. So the answer to that, to try and get it to feel as fair as possible, is to get the amount of information people have to be as close as possible. And then you can balance the game around that.
Yeah,
is my opinion.
I think my concern is I don't overly enjoy VHS. And that game is incredibly well balanced. Whether you're in a Swift or whether you're solo. Like, it's all designed very well for that.
Absolutely, yeah.
I used to do the same. I used to be like, they need to buff solo queue. But every move behavior I've made to balance DBD and make it fairer, I've seen more and more people complain about how stale it feels. Yeah. And that's how I kind of feel when I play VHS. So I'm sitting there going, great, it's going to be more balanced. Is it going to be more fun, though? Time will tell. Like, it might be better. It might feel better, but I'm worried about that.
Well, yeah.
I'll go ahead, John, and then I have a take on Gary's take.
I think this most recent round of changes was trying to compress things a little bit and bring in some of the outliers, which were outliers in terms of weakness, solo queue, outliers in terms of strength, nurse, whether or not they were successful with that, whatever. But that's kind of how they're looking at things. So I definitely approve of the attitude that they're approaching it with this version of the balance changes. With the 6.1, last July, maybe not, but I think this most recent one, I think, was a good balance change. Because, like Doug was saying, like solo queue, the closer it is to Swift, the more that they're going to be able to like balance the survivor role as a whole, and I think it's just going to be healthier for the game.
I think, I do completely agree. This, like, the more symmetrical you can make all the play styles, the easier it is to balance and make the game feel fair. But it just depends on what you prioritize. Like, I've never really cared that much about DBD being fair. As long as it feels fair. Like, the reason I didn't like Dead Hard is because it didn't feel fair when you want to chase and then suddenly it was taken away from you. But most of the other stuff felt fine. I don't know. Again, I'm happy to be wrong. I would prefer the game to feel better by the UI, but when the gen thing comes out, I'm pretty sure killers are going to like want a buff, and then behavior will probably eventually give them a buff, and then people will complain again, and this tennis game of just balance for both sides. I'm so bored of listening to everyone whine about balance in a game which is so RNG heavy.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. That's the thing too.
I think we agree more than we disagree.
You and I argue and we joke around a lot about being at odds, right? But like, I don't think you're wrong. I wonder if maybe you, Gary, the Hawkcross, might be coming to a point in your journey with Dead by Daylight and with Asyms where DBD might not be the game for you moving forward as these changes continue to happen. Because I think that Behavior's vision is to try and be more like VHS.
And I completely agree. It's why I'm so excited for Killer Clowns, because
exactly. I was going to mention Killer Clowns.
That's going to take the place that DBD is moving away from.
And maybe
Texas Chainsaw is going to supply us with the horror vibe that we're kind of losing as Behavior moves it into a more competitive kind of game.
Well, I also think that Texas Chainsaw, even if it's a horror game, is also probably going to feel more fair just based on the fact that it's 4v3 rather than 4v1. Because again, the power levels of Killer in that game are going to be not as oppressive. Like, it's not if your killers in TCM are as oppressive as killers are in DBD, then the game is going to die immediately. It's just super imbalanced. So you're going to have the power levels have to be pretty close to the same. So again, I think it's just one of those things. Like, I've just accepted that DVDs, and we had comments about this in the podcast last week. We could talk about, like, we're not coming back from this. MMR is in the game; it's not leaving.
Yes, people have been arguing against MMR since 5.7.0, but we're still here at like what 6. Which patch we in? 6.3.
3, I think. 6.3.
Debates over Swift and debates over perk power levels are not going away. These conversations have been happening and will happen in perpetuity. Behaviors received your messages, player base, loud and clear. We want balance. We want the game to be fair. And they're listening and they're doing that. So
all of these changes have been because Behavior are very good at listening to their player base, in my opinion. All these changes are player driven. Yep.
And I think that we're at a point now where there's not any coming back unless they listen to our podcast and decide to do the casual and rank.
I think I will say the trouble is, I think the people that quite liked the way DVD was didn't complain really loud on Twitter. They just sat and played the game and enjoyed it. It was a very loud minority that were like, "This game needs balance." And I think that's why it's progressively they've listened.
And that's just what the community is now. It's just people on both. Killer main screaming that the game is unfair. Survivor main screaming that the game is unfair. Balance the game Behavior, and the more balanced it gets, the more upset everybody gets.
Yeah,
I just don't know if I agree that the reason that it isn't so fun right now is because of balance. I think it's more of the 6.1 update moving with the perk shifts, the focus away from chases and more towards gens, and also getting rid of the boon hex meta, because nobody brings, I mean, people still bring boons, but like people just ignore totems, like I've said before. And I think that that's resulted in the stale meta. I don't know if it's a result of making the game more balanced. I think it is the result of
I think that's
making the game
point.
a bit unbalanced in cases like Eruption.
Right.
And that's sticking in the game.
I would never run that perk.
And that's been in the game for how long? Like 6 months now? I mean,
too long.
No end in sight.
I think that's a fair point that the 6.1.0 update did make the meta quite stale in itself, and it's not necessarily a balance issue as such. It's just it could be a blur of the two, though.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all, John. I love the idea. We've talked about this, you and I individually, and on the podcast, we talked about how much better the game would be if it was more chase focused than protect the gens / rush the gens, right? Right. Which might be a good way to segue into something we wanted to talk about today, which is that there is a huge Twitter pushback conversation happening about how Save the Best for Last is overpowered and needs to be nerfed.
That has been, that's been a very hot topic the past week or so, like since the last episode was published.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which upsets me because I love Save the Best for Last.
Well, it comes into the conversation of being like, what do you want, right? Do you want the game to be chase focused, or do you want the game to be 3 gens, right? Because the killers aren't going to run slowdown perks. They got to run some perks that are going to help them win the game. Like, that's Save the Best for Last.
Save the Best for Last rewards you for chases.
It's one of very few impactful chase perks, right? Like, it's an actual impactful chase perk. And at the point, and it has a direct hard counter in the obsession having the ability to eat stacks.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and argue that Save the Best for Last is perfectly balanced. It's definitely no stronger than Old Iron Will was, and I think Old Iron Will should never have changed. Because again, it's one of these things that, and both sides do it, and it drives me up the fucking wall. Is like, killers will complain about Dead Hard, and they'll complain about all these perks. They'll complain about Gen Rush, Prove Thyself, Dead Hard, blah, blah. But then, like, they also complain about Iron Will. And, like, Iron Will was a perk that was, like, an alternative to perks that made gens faster and an alternative to getting free escapes from chases. Like, killers complain about second chance perks, but then perks like Iron Will get nerfed.
Yeah, like, every perk can be used effectively, and as soon as it's used effectively against you, it's like, well, this is overpowered, clearly.
Exactly.
Like, no, it just they used it really well. They just outskilled you in that one moment. It's not the end of the world.
And note that I'm focusing on Iron Will because I'm a killer main. And again, nobody had to deal with more Iron Wills than I did, like having to deal with stacks running Iron Will and the frustration of losing a chase because a dude ducked around and like you lost. But there was actual skill-based counterplay to Iron Will. Like you tracked blood on the ground, you tracked survivor movements, if you had predictions of where they were going to go. And then if they got you with it, fair play. It was a strong play made by a perk that isn't a second chance perk and isn't a gen perk.
Right.
You know, but Killer Mains got that killed. They got rid of it forever.
And they got what they wanted, and now they're like, prove thyself.
Yeah. No! Because somebody, now they can't use Iron Will to slip a chase. They're like, well, fuck it. I'll get 10% extra gens.
I'll just do some gens. I'll just get the game done.
Crush the objective. And it's the same thing. I would argue the same thing with STBFL. Stay the best for last, right?
Yeah.
Is you guys don't want people to stack slowdowns. I hear constant complaints about stacking slowdowns. Fair. So what do you want killers to run instead? What's gonna help them win
Take
games?
Bloodhound. Yeah, Predator and Bloodhound, please.
Yeah. Barbecue and chili. Like, okay. Okay. Yeah. I know you'd love that, but like the thing is, like, if they're not running slowdown perks, they're probably gonna want to run perks that are gonna really reward them for taking chases. Barbecue doesn't reward you for taking chases anymore because they got rid of the stacks and the blood points. Save the best for last rewards you for taking chases. Another perk gets complained about constantly. No Way Out.
I am a little tired of No Way Out.
I know you are, and we talked about this too because it's another perk a lot like Eruption, where when a No Way Out triggers, you're just standing
if the killer's not going to like come straight to the gate, I'm bored.
Yeah, you're just waiting.
I just stand there.
It's a boring perk, but it does reward you for taking 4 individual chases, winning 4 chases in the game. So it's something. But again,
not always. Sometimes it depends if the survivors are not trading.
Trading?
No Way Out can be a problem against a camper. Just depends on the solo queue experience you have.
Well, but if they're camping, if they're not camp someone to death, then they're not going to get the 4 stacks, right?
I don't know, but you know, when a killer is camping a hook and your team goes, you know what, I'm not going to let this person die on first hook. No, I refuse to just let that be miserable.
Right.
They trade.
We're going to talk. We're going to talk
about
another
stack for No Way Out. And it's
we're going to talk
the killer's not being rewarded for taking chases, they're being rewarded for camping. So No Way Out has that issue to it, which happens far too often at the moment.
The fucking game can be summed up right now. The meta can be summed up. The killer is rewarded for camping. And we'll talk about that when we talk about Swift later.
We've sworn so much this episode.
I'm ready for it, man. I'm ready for, again, I feel like a lot of people loved last season. And I think that a lot of our our personalities are starting to shine through more, and we're starting to get more like passionate about our discussions, right?
Shut up, Doug.
So, if you want me to stop swearing,
no. I love seeing that little E show up on Spotify that says explicit on the.
I tag it now. I tag it as explicit now. I want to warn people that we're going to say words sometimes. Right. I don't think we don't go out of our way, but we're passionate dudes, and we care a lot about the game. So
yeah,
it was more a point of pride for us.
There's so much Riz on this podcast.
We got a lot of Riz. A ton of Riz.
A lot of Riz.
Yeah. Purple hair.
Yeah. We should call this the Riz cast, honestly.
Riz?
I knew Gary wouldn't know what it was. Okay, so it's just short for charisma.
Okay. Oh yeah.
The kids are saying it. Who knows how long it's gonna last? Chugi lasted like a month, so who knows how long Riz is gonna last? A week.
I never heard about Chugi.
I'll use it for the next couple of years. Don't worry. Riz is now in my vocabulary.
Gary
I'll say that tomorrow on stream.
He'll get a Riz tattoo on his forearm. Like, I got the Riz right here.
Love that word. Describes me so well.
So Save the Best for Last is a strong perk. The concept that it needs to be nerfed, to me, seems a little... It just seems like, why are you worried about Save the Best for Last when actual problematic stuff like Eruption is in the game?
I tell you what, I will agree one thing with Save the Best for Last. Because there's two kind of inbuilt stacks to Killer now, you could maybe adjust the percentage so that it's not quite as... Because I love running it on Nemesis because he punches so fast.
Yeah.
Makes me laugh when you've got 8 stacks.
I saw
maybe it should lose a couple of...
Because 8 stacks now is equivalent to what 10 stacks would have been before.
Yeah, but did you see the math? Did you see the math on that? It's like 0.3 seconds.
Oh yeah, it's
like no time. So no offense to the, it's 10 stacks now.
I'm just saying, too strong, like, to me. In a game where like those time is a big factor in Dead by Daylight, I will concede that maybe that would be the only level of nerf I would accept. But as you say, it's not a big deal.
So I'm a Save the Best for Last enjoyer. I love playing Save the Best for Last killers, Nemesis, Deathslinger, Demogorgon. I love playing all those guys. I have run into something recently where people are bringing it more often, I've noticed, which might have spawned this discourse. But I ran into a situation where somebody was being camped in the end game by a guy with full stacks. Yep. And I went for the save because I was like, oh, they've been juicing all game. I can't let them just die here. And so I got hit as I was unhooking. And then before I could even do anything, I got hit again. Because they had full stacks to Save the Best for Last. And I will say, it feels a little bad to not have any counterplay to that. Even though they're getting rewarded for the chases, which I think is great, but it does feel a little bad in that one situation to feel like you have no recourse. Unless you have like a full swift and you've got somebody coming in behind you like, I'll take a hit for the second hit, that's not going to happen very often at all.
And in service of fairness, that is a real problem. And it really comes back to the problem is the camping, not the perk. Like the perk as designed in Chase does feel fair. And again, I would argue rather than nerf Save the Best for Last, we should do something like maybe buff Decisive Strike. Because again, when I have 8 stacks and I hit you, you have time to make it to a pallet, to a window, to a save tile. When you hit me with DS, you don't have time to make it anywhere. You're just dead. You're just going to go down again. Mm-hmm. And so to me, again, I think that it's going to sound harsh, but like if you're consistently going down and Chase to Save the Best for Last, it's a skill issue. You're not setting yourself up for success. Because even with full stacks, you have time to react and make a move.
Another thing I like about Save the Best for Last is that it kind of punishes hold W play styles, which have been one of the reasons why the meta's been stale for the past couple of years. Because you can't just hold W against full stacks to Save the Best for Last. They'll catch up before you can get to the next loop. And so it kind of encourages survivors to play more in that looping play style that we all enjoy playing with and against. So I do like that about it as well. That's another point for it.
But I would argue that maybe, and again, we're going to discuss this kind of stuff moving forward for the next few weeks, I think, talking more about like some wholesale changes to the real problematic playstyles, which is like the hard face camping, and definitely Save the Best for Last is a good perk to have if you're going to hard camp.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that it's so powerful in that, because like the situation you played out, like I've seen that happen so many times in my games. But I mean, on the plus side, at least it's not really viable for like 4 and 5 gen camping typically, because at that point you don't typically have your stacks yet. So.
Right.
But it does make it easier to secure those late game camps, which I mean, you could argue.
I see that as the prize,
fair. Yeah, maybe it's fair, right? It's fair that you got your stacks, right? Yeah.
I think we're all kind of on the same page as this, because it's like, it kind of sucks, for the other side, but you did win all those chases earlier in the match, and you're getting rewarded for it at presumably late game or late mid game,
Yeah.
So it's not like you're using it, like you said, at 5 gens, you're face camping, and you're like, I've got my 8 stacks already.
Yeah, exactly.
Put them
up. Good luck.
Yeah.
So I guess Spine Chill endorses Save the Best for Last as a perk that
yes,
maybe
yeah.
doesn't need
You know what?
doesn't need a nerf at this time.
I'm thinking about getting the Save the Best for Last tattoo.
I want to get one on my neck, right here. Right here. What do you guys
I
think?
want one right here on my forehead.
You should
Save
get
the Best for
Eruption,
Last.
Doug.
Oh God. The amount of shame I feel just for publicly using it 2 days in a row. I couldn't possibly think about putting ink on my
You
body.
did it for one day and we're like, nah, I've got another day in me for it.
I did, bro. I did. Just one more day.
It wasn't just one day.
There's more in the tank for this.
I can quit whenever I want. I can quit whenever I want. I don't need Eruption.
That's funny.
But maybe this would be a good chance to, because again, Save the Best for Last, right? What's a good way to counter Save the Best for Last? It's to coordinate with the obsession to take stacks. So maybe we could talk about Survive with Friends.
Well,
Thinking about talking about.
we actually have a question from the Discord server about this.
Oh,
It's quite
the Q-
interesting. I think
From the Q&A text channel.
yes, because we are keeping an eye on it and like questions that catch our eye. I think it's good to discuss them because I think this is quite an interesting point.
If you're an audio only listener, John made it seem like he was telling a secret. So
It's how I can get attention from the guys to let me talk. I've got something I need to say.
Okay, go, Doug. John, sorry. So the question is from B Black Phoenix, and the question is: imagine that instead of buffing solo queue survivors to blame solo versus Swift, you instead had to somehow nerf Swift without removing it as an option. What would you do? So how would you nerf Swift?
So I think they even elaborate on this, and it's the most common quote fix that I hear is like, well, you gotta nerf their gen speeds. If they're a Swift, if they're playing with their friends. And I completely disagree with that. I think it makes sense, as like a band-aid fix, but that's going to feel really bad on the other side, and you do not want to discourage people from playing with their friends. That's one of the reasons why Dead by Daylight's player base is so large and the game is so successful, is because people are able to play with their friends. And if they see a disadvantage to playing with their friends, especially when most people that are playing with their friends are just messing around, they're not there to make your life miserable. They're just there to hang out and voice call with their friend and just play a spooky little Asym horror game together. They're not there to, rush through the gens and we gotta win. That does happen, but that's not the majority of them. So you're punishing the entire group for the sins of a few, if you will. So I don't like that fix. I don't think that they can do anything to change Swift without affecting solo queue, and that's been one of the major problems with the games for years.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Is like you don't want to discourage people playing with their friends. That would suck. What do you think, Doug?
yeah, I'm 100% on board with what John was saying. We've talked about, and Gary, you did a whole video where you talked about how the majority player base in DBD is solo queue.
Yes, I have the stats ready in case we need them. But
So if you just look at it like very simply, you're like, well, if the majority of people are solo anyways, who cares if we nerf Swift? It becomes an issue when you start thinking about the fact that even if the majority player base is playing solo, a lot of those solo queue survivors are queuing into games with people that are playing Survivor Friends. The solo experience is better because Survivor Friends is better. Now, are you telling me that you want the gen speeds to be slower based on having like 2 or 3 people in a Swift? So now you're punishing solo players for queuing into a lobby with Swift players. That's a good point. Right? Is that what you want?
Yeah. Like,
you don't want that.
Are they saying that only like the duo get slower gen speeds and the solos get normal? Because then that's weird, right? How are they going to enforce that? I don't know.
So then they want to only punish 4 stacks, 4-mans. But like, I don't know. It's just, you can't mess with Survivor Friends. It's an important part of the game. It's a healthy thing for the game. I mentioned to Gary, I was like, the game would die without Survivor Friends. And Gary says, well, I have the stats to prove that it wouldn't because, solo queue is
I don't think it would kill Dead by Daylight if it didn't have Swift, is my point.
It would though. I do think.
I think it would hurt, but I don't think it would kill it.
I think it would make it almost impossible for new
Where are they
players
going to go, Doug?
to join.
VHS.
Evil Dead has a patch on February 2nd, all I'm saying. But no, I just think that like it wouldn't kill. I mean, it's not going to kill. Nothing's going to kill the game. The game, Propnight's still alive with 1,000 concurrents. Like it's not going to kill the game.
Well done them.
But my point being that the game would be hurt tremendously the bottom line at behavior would be hurt tremendously because, a lot of your people that are buying cosmetics and buying DLCs they're grouping up with their friends when they're playing. Like it's
right.
I actually have another solution to this problem. Okay. I think it would be a nice one, but it doesn't need to nerf anything. I would just say in the post-game lobby, it should show who was in a Swift, right? And the killer should get bonus blood points dependent on that. So if it's a 2-man Swift in there, 25% extra blood points. If it's a 3-man, give them 50%. If it's a 4-man, give them 100%. I don't care. But just
show it in the pregame lobby. Show it ahead of time so they can choose to dodge too.
People dodge.
Let them dodge. Let an alpha male killer play against the 4-man. Don't force them into playing.
As John was saying, like, not every Swift is a nightmare.
Yeah,
right.
I kind of would rather
let them be afraid.
I think keeping it like anonymous in the pre-game stops people from going, right, okay, it's a Swift. I'm going to bring the most unfun stuff to ruin this experience for
They're
everybody.
already doing that, Gary. They don't care.
Not everybody.
They're doing it because they're scared it's a Swift. At least they know.
I don't know. I mean, it's a small point of contention, but I in the post game at least, I would like to see who was in a Swift because it stops you being like, we're not in a Swift. So,
I hate it when they do that shit.
I mean, we take the piss out of it when we Swift together, and we're all dressed as the same character. Like, whoa, what are the chances?
We make sure they know it's us, and then we act like it's not. That's my favorite shit too. I think
the blood point incentive, the bonus for going up against the Swift, would be like a nice surprise at the end. So if you finish a match, you go, that was really tough, and then you end and you get like you get double the blood points because it was a 4-man Swift. I think you'd feel a little bit less bad about getting a 1K.
I don't think they would. I think the people that care would still care, even if they. I don't know, man. It's just and it's also gonna cause people to be like toxic in post game chat. You only won because you're a Swift because they see that they're a Swift. Like I think that they
do that anyway. If I talk about like what people do anyway, as soon as they lose, they go, "Oh, it's a Swift."
Exactly, and that's why I think they should show. That's why I'm fine with them showing it ahead. I would love for them.
If you don't like the toxic post games,
like.
You can turn it off. So
this is what I would like to see. I would like to see pre-game lobbies for Survivor and Killer. For the Killer perspective, they all come in streamer mode. So it's Vittorio Toscano, it's Hattie Carr, it's all their names, and they're in the base kit cosmetic with no item showing, and it tells who's grouped up together. And that's it. You don't know who you're playing against. You can't click on Steam profiles in the pre-game lobby. You can't check. You don't know if they're PC, you don't know if they're console, you don't know what prestige they are. All you know is which survivor they are and if they're grouped together.
Right.
Okay, so as a survivor, do I get to know what the killer is?
Why would you need to know what the killer is?
Why not?
I'm taking information away from the killer. Why would I give more information to survivor? What are you, a survivor man?
Oh, what if I want to dodge? I don't want to go against Nurse.
I mean,
I don't want to go against a sweaty Nurse. I want to be able to dodge. If they get to dodge against a 4-man Swift, I want to be able to dodge against a Nurse.
I mean, I'm okay with that too, honestly. But like, that's just because I don't play Nurse.
I concede then.
But I think that the less information
that will concede.
I think the less information that you have pregame, the better. And I think postgame information, you can find out everything after the fact. Mm-hmm. Because I don't think anyone should be allowed to be anonymous mode in postgame.
I would agree with all of your changes in terms of like taking away information, as long as you can't see Swifts as well. I don't think dodging and I just don't think being able to dodge lobbies is healthy. I mean, we're going to talk about this with Evil Dead, aren't we? And like, we could talk about the prestige issue in DBD where people dodge people because they've got too much information. When matchmaking's rough, that's not great. If say there's a low in killer players and you're dodging lobbies, it's not fair on those survivors who've waited to fight 5 minutes to find a match.
I concede not showing Swift as long as you endorse them buffing solo survivor even more, so that you can just always assume it's a 4-man. You always feel like it's going to be a 4-man, because I think that would make it. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so in favor of all this. Like, I've been talking about it for years. Like buffing solo.
I think people that are terrified of Swifts play like that anyway. So sure.
I think the Swifts are not that. And this is the Swift conversation we wanted to have. Is I think that people, and John already touched on this earlier in the season, people grossly overestimate how many games they lose because of Swift, and you never hear anyone talking about how many games they win because of Swift. Mm-hmm. Like, how many games you win because they're not going to leave somebody behind. How many games you win because somebody comes off of a gen that's going to break the 3-gen to try and take a hit on a fresh survivor. They're just being teammates. They're just being homies. Right. They're having fun. Like, Swifts play dumb like 80% of the time, and those guys who play hard AF when they're in Swift are going to play that way when they're in solo queue too.
Yeah.
And they're going to be just as effective with 3 randoms.
Yeah.
Because the mentality of a gamer, of a sweaty gamer, of a guy who fucking plays DBD doesn't change if they're in a Swift or a solo queue or a duo, trio. It doesn't matter, right?
I don't know. Doug, you're pretty sweaty, but you're very different when we Swift.
I guess yeah, you're right. So I nerf myself when I play with friends
because I'm like as well.
I'm like, yeah, you guys, we got to have fun. I mean, yeah. I don't get pushed out nearly as often when I'm playing with you guys.
Because I agree, like Swift isn't always the god squad. It's a lot of people just fucking around.
The majority of Swifts aren't a god squad.
Yeah.
The majority of super try-hard survivors don't have a lot of friends to play with because most people don't like to play like that. So it turns into like there being comp survivors, like people that play in tournaments together will play in pubs sometimes. Right? Maybe I just roasted some people.
You just roasted the shit out of sweaty people. I love it.
They're just no lifers.
I qualify. I don't play with friends very often, and I play really sweaty on Survivor.
Yeah. You have friends though, Doug.
I do have friends. I'm not saying those guys don't have friends outside of DPD, and they probably have friends like.
But yeah, like I wouldn't. Anyone who wanted to play really comp and sweaty in DPD, I wouldn't play with them. I don't want to.
Yeah, the guys doing the clock callouts probably don't have a long friends list looking to game every night because there's just not a lot of guys that play that way. So
right.
Survivor Friends is long been blamed for every killer loss of all time. But killers really have a hard time with the copium. John's daily dose this week, the copium that they win their games through skill and not because the Swift was drunk on a Friday and we're like, well, yeah, we can get this save on Bubba. Let's try it. Let's try it. You know?
I had a match last week on Gas Heaven where it was 4 survivors and I just didn't look at the lobby and they were a Swift, right? They were 4-stack and they just blazed through these gens. They were kicking my ass. I had 1 hook. They had 3 gens done. They were down to 2. And then I hooked one of them in the middle of the map. And then they all started swarming with their flashlights, with their toolboxes. They were getting ready, and then I got a 3 slug out of it, and I went on to win the game. And it was only possible because they were a 4-stack. They got cocky, they got altruistic, and I was able to take advantage of it. They were good players, but that's one of those situations where the Swift didn't really play into their hand like they wanted it to, or it might have been on another occasion. So
yeah, I watched that match. I watched you play that match. I remember that match. I was there, and it was so funny. And I loved how you were very woke about it. You were like, yo, these guys probably could have just ended the game, but they're playing together, they're having fun, they're good, they're cracked, they're flashlights, they're going in, and like they gave me a chance to win. And again, I commend you for that because most players wouldn't have done that, wouldn't have acknowledged that like they had you had a hook with 3 gens done. If those guys wanted out, they spread on gens, they do the gens, they get out, you're going to get 1, maybe 2. You know? Maybe 2.
Maybe.
But because they're gaming and they're confident, they kept you in the game long enough to be able to snowball. And you won. You used skill to win the game, you know? You weren't rocking NOED and you didn't do anything cheesy. You didn't face camp. You won chases, you denied flashlight saves, and you won the game.
Honestly, it's a good point because like in solo queue, I do not go for endgame saves. I do not risk for them. I don't know who they are. Fuck them.
Yeah, I do the same shit. I get pushed out.
I'm sitting on the gen.
You guys hear that tear radius? I'm out. I'm going. I hear the tear radius. I'm out. I'm pushed out. Yeah, no.
Yeah, you do that thing where you stand in the exit gate and you're like, do I go for it? And then you hear the tear radius and you're like, no.
Yeah.
I'm getting pushed out.
Yeah. Survivor Friends is not the problem. And the guys who are good enough to just 4 out all night running Swift are good enough to do that playing as individuals.
I'll go on further. I quite like when I think it's a Swift. They tend to be quite fun matches. They tend to be more interesting. Like there is the Swifts that are just there to demolish you, but there's the Swifts that are like playing in they're coordinated to try and do things. They're quite fun matches.
It is so fun. It is so fun to play against like a group that isn't prioritizing gens, and they're there to get the Sabo, to get the head on, to get the flashlight save. I love playing against teams like that. Yeah.
No.
Even boil over Sabo teams that bring a map offering.
Stop it.
It's different, isn't it? It's different.
No, stop it.
Unless they use like the main building, and it's like
I hate the way you just said. I don't want to play against that team ever.
It feels good to win against them at least.
But
it does.
When you lose against them, it feels awful. I will say,
like, just to go back to my original point, I do think if there was like a blood point prize at the end for going up against a Swift, killers might feel a little better about the situation rather than being like, "Damn it, only got a 2K."
Yeah, give him more points. Whatever, I'm down. I will say this. I think I've mentioned this before. I'm going to just say this again because it's important to me to say this out loud. But if you've ever complained about slowdown perks in the game Dead by Daylight, but you run Sabo, Breakout, Boil Over, fix your shit. Okay, you're doing the exact same thing. You're denying my objective.
True.
The same way I'm denying yours. So I'm not saying there's a problem with running Sabo, Boil Over, Breakout, but don't do that shit and then complain that killers are running slowdowns. Because
the reason I wouldn't want Sabo to go away is because sometimes it's funny when they mess it up.
Yeah. And most of them suck at it, right? Most of them are Fung Means and they suck at it, so we're fine. But hooking survivors is my objective. Killing survivors is my objective, but you have to hook them to kill them in most cases, right?
Yeah.
So denying my hooks is no different than me denying your gens. And if you hate how it feels to be on a gen and eruption goes off and you have 25 seconds, imagine how it feels when you're like 2 meters from the hook goes down and there's no hooks, and you just have to let this person go now, and they just get away.
Right after you won a chase and you downed them successfully, and you're
exactly. So I'm not saying you did anything wrong by denying that hook. I'm just saying don't complain about my slowdown perks if you're saboing my hooks.
It's a fair point.
You know?
Yeah, fair.
But it is fun. As a survivor, it's very fun to sabo.
It is.
Teabag. You're like, later, bitch.
It's exhilarating when you get that breakout, and it's so scary when they have agitation to counter. It's fun though. Yeah.
So I would like to say then, I'm sorry to take point on this one more time, but do we Spine Chill endorse the Survivor Friends, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, in general.
Yeah.
As a concept. I would say I endorse fun Swifts, and I think Swifts are good for the game, etc. I don't like playing against Swifts. They're just there purely to win, do gens, and leave.
Yeah, but I don't... None of us are like gonna be like, yeah, I think you should take DBD really seriously.
Yeah.
I think it's life or death winning and losing in this game.
That's me now. That's my villain arc now.
That is true. You are an Eruption gamer.
I am. I run Eruption and I play Hyper Focus.
It's no longer Hat Man. He's Eruption Man.
Oh, I'm still Hat Man. I got Eruption. Eruption's right here, underneath the hat. Underneath the hat.
That's where the tattoo's going.
Hat Man Gone Wild, Volume 2.
That was quite a healthy little discussion about Swift there.
I feel like at times in our DBD discussion, things get a little heated, and then we bring it back down. Things get a little heated, we bring it back down.
The spice is fun, though, isn't it? If we just agreed the whole time, like, yeah. There's no point having three of us. Just have one of us.
Yeah. True. Our disagreements fill the podcast with life. Are we kind of done with the DBD section? Would
That's
you say? Was
everything
there anything
I've got.
else?
The Lunar event's really fun.
Lunar event's fun, yeah.
Lunar event's been the most fun I've had with an event for like the last 3 or 4 probably for some reason.
Did you like the snowman? I enjoyed the snowman a little bit. I suppose that got a little boring.
I like the snowman. Yeah. I think the snowman event, the Bone Chill event, lasted a little too long.
I guess they did extend it though because there was an issue, wasn't there? Something happened.
Some issue affected like 14 players, and they extended it by like 3 weeks, whatever. I do like the lunar event. But we're already done with it, right? Like we've already gotten all the cosmetic.
This is the same problem that they have every time. It's like you just get 10 envelopes and you're done.
Yeah, I kind of wish there was more to do because we only get like 2 or 3 events a year. Maybe 4, I'm not sure, but I would like there to be more activity.
Give me a bonus blue one if I get 100 envelopes.
Well, it'd be nice if there was a tome, right? Like they do with the Halloween one. Yeah, a tome with like some specific cosmetics would be nice.
I will say, I do wish behavior would calm down on doing everything on the same day. Because like the lunar event kicked off, and there's a new tome, and there's all these patch changes. Like you could spread this out a little bit. Just a lot of shit happens in 1 or 2 days. It happens a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think
we could have a lunar event like tome if there wasn't a tome going on, which usually when they do an event tome, it overlaps with a tome.
That's true. And I have complained about that before because I'm like, well, I guess I'll do the event tome because that one expires, you know. So nobody's really doing the new one, the new big one. And I will say, we haven't talked about the new tome or rift at all because that came out like the day after the update. But I was really unimpressed by the rift skins this time.
It's the same as last year's. Do you remember last year had a really disappointing rift?
Possibly.
Wow. It's the same time of year.
Man, you guys just aren't into the medieval stuff, I guess, because I thought those medieval cosmetics were
I like some of it. I think Claudette is kind of cute. Vittorio's hair looks hilarious.
Ready to do some LARPing, guys. Like, this is awesome for me. I'm super stoked about
Vittorio's got some like Justin Timberlake curls.
Well, part of the issue for me is that like I don't even own Vittorio of the Night yet. I still don't.
I know, it's like my favorite thing.
Which at this point is a point of pride to stay out of it. But
I'm about to gift it to you right now. I'm going to go to
I don't really play like there's another Feng Min outfit. Like she got the Prime outfit, she got the new store, the bunny outfit, the lunar event outfit, and then
how dirty is her belly in that outfit?
Oh, I haven't looked closely at her belly.
I'll
take your word.
It's so filthy.
Gary's
they don't have to add so much dirt to every cosmetic.
I do agree that especially when they put a bunch of dirt around the knees, it's a little
dirty
weird.
Knees. This is the dirtiest belly in the game.
Gary does not approve.
Yeah, we got a future tier list. Future tier list is getting thought about right now.
Yeah.
Dirty cosmetics.
A dirt tier list.
Feng Min has an S tier, dirty belly.
I mean, honestly, there's enough Feng Min cosmetics to do a whole tier list of just her cosmetics.
We could, yeah.
Like, and that would be like a 2-hour episode, right? With all the cosmetics.
That's one in the bag.
But gross. I mean, but she got the Prime outfit, she got the lunar event outfit, and she got a rift outfit with a recolor in the deep rift. I was just like, there's too much of this. So part of it is the fact that the characters that got outfits I wasn't really that interested in. But also for the medieval outfits, my problem with them, like Claudette's, for example, you can't really mix and match that medieval outfit with anything. No. Maybe the hair, I like the hair, but the top and the bottoms, you can't really mix that with anything. It's going to look awful. So that was kind of my issue with the medieval outfits too.
No, that's fair. Totally fair.
I also am not keen on the blue being used again for the extended rift.
Yeah, what's that about? I brought up the same point.
Why are the 2 shades of blue? And they're both horrible shades of blue that don't look like they go together.
Oh, and then
my color theory brain's like, I don't like this.
And then there's so much ugly green palette swapping happening too. I guess for St. Patty's Day, they did the same thing last year.
Did you see the Yoon Jin trousers, by the way, John? What did you think of those? The yellow ones for the lunar event.
I don't
know what to do with them.
I was there.
Okay. I was bringing this up because I tried to use them and I couldn't because the problem is there's no belt at the top. It just the pants just kind of end
That's
awkwardly.
The problem, yeah.
Yeah, and so I was like, I can't use anything with this except for her like little lacy PJ top. Kind of weirdly works, but other than that, there's nothing to mix and match with it. Not a fan.
I feel like this is like this part of this podcast. This sort of situation happens a lot where it's like I'm just like me like cool medieval stuff, and you guys are like, let's really get into the fashion. Let's really cut into like
care a lot about the fashion of DVD. We like a dress up our dolly game, and DVD's like really good at it. No,
and I'm not complaining. I love it. I love that we're so different while also being so similar in a lot of ways. Because this is just to me like I'm like.
Who cares about Yoon Jin's trousers?
Like, go off, all right? I think it's pretty dope that they have medieval skins, but you guys, And I remember watching, John, when you were going through some of the rift stuff on your stream, and you were like very impassioned about the kind of pants that you think Yoon Jin should be getting.
Yes.
And I was like, we're not the same.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Let's get the thigh high boot recolor. Why are we getting these weird pants?
That is a fair point. I will say the night cosmetic's pretty cool. With the hands on the mask, that's pretty cool.
With the hands on the that is pretty cool. Yeah. But I don't know, just not a very impressive riff.
And
for me
that
overall.
does look better in the blue. The knight's armor looks pretty cool in the blue.
I do like the concept of the Deep Rift, where they extend it past level 70 into 85. I think that's a great idea. It's more stuff to do, but
if they're gonna copy Fortnite season system for the extended battle pass, look at their cosmetics, because I want all of them this season. Like, they look so good.
Yeah, because it's not just recolors; it's different textures.
Yeah,
the Fortnite battle pass has an extended like Deep Rift version too, but they bring in like these space textures and this like gold and silver and stuff.
You look special.
Yeah, it isn't just like it's blue now.
Yeah. I think that if Behavior wants to take notes from Fortnite on how to do their battle pass, they might also consider taking some notes from Behavior or from Fortnite on how to do like game modes and like interesting things in game. Because like, fun is really nice, and
like the snowman stuff, and that's like a step in the right direction. I think you're right. It would be nice to see more, because Fortnite's I'm sure it's a bigger team, and obviously it brings in a lot more money. But it's so creative.
Yeah, I'd love to see them get more creative with stuff like that, because again, it's not even like a ranked game. DBD is just you don't have to worry about competitive balance as much, especially when it regards to like events and stuff.
It's like, I often fantasize about if DBD went the Fortnite route and took itself way less seriously and just add a bunch of crazy shit into the games. Most people that take it really seriously would hate it. But like,
you could add stuff that's specific to be horror.
Yeah. I was just thinking, like, you need like what if they added vehicles to DBD? How weird would that be?
Oh yeah,
but
even if they're just little razor
zip lines.
Huh?
Yeah, imagine like a zip line at the top of Ironworks. The killer could take it too.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Sick. I'd be sick. I'd be down. Like and they could even do game modes. Like they could do like a rotating, like a scramble, or this is silly, like Fall Guys does. Fall Guys has like ranked. It has like their playlist where you can win.
More
crowns
points to spend. Yeah,
but then they have like every week they do like a silly game mode that's like breaks the mold a little bit, and you get like crown shards instead of actual crowns.
Yeah.
Right, we shouldn't talk about this. Is just upsetting because DBD's MMR now. Like it's
a comp
game.
It's
not going to be casual fun game. It's going to be
it's an RNG based comp game somehow.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
the dream. I've always wanted one of those.
Yeah.
A game where you you roll a dice and you'll see how many hooks you'll get, how many kills you'll get, at the same time as it being rank based, which will make me feel deflated if I lose.
It's a D&D skill check.
Anyway,
all right, so that was an hour and a half, wasn't it, of DBD? Are we good?
Yeah. I always feel like I was like this week's segment on DBD should be a little smaller, but then we always end up just
we've got these opinions built into us that we haven't really been exploring because we've been like getting used to the format of doing this podcast, and now we're like, let's just talk, let's just shoot the shit.
It's kind of like a therapy session a little bit.
Just getting it off of our chest, just dealing with the abuse that is Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, we started with Doug's eruption confession, and
I was just gonna say
my name's Doug, and I use eruption now.
So I needed therapy because I ran eruption for 2 streams, and everybody saw it, so I needed the therapy.
Yeah. Well, the other game segments we can go into with just plain news, just unbiased news.
Well,
I actually play the games, so I can talk more.
I play some of them. We should maybe start. This might be a big one to jump into. Propnight. It's got a bit of drama, hasn't it?
It does. Gary, you want to get him up to speed on the Propnight drama? Was it fantastic?
Fantastic, without an A. Are developing another game, maybe? Question mark.
Maybe.
Potentially. A game called The Day Before.
Sure.
Yeah, The Day Before. It had like a trailer show, I think, last year. Which was an Unreal Engine cinematic, basically, of potential gameplay. And since then, nothing's really been reported about it. It's disappeared off of Steam, I believe, like the wishlist system. It's like not there anymore.
Right.
And no one really knows what it is. And it's quite bizarre for the same developers of Propnight to be making this PS5 AAA. It looks incredible, the trailer they showed. Like, it looks really cool. But it's like, it is a bit of a weird juxtaposition to see Propnight and this game, same developer.
Right.
I will say on this note, we have speculated before. We've been like, who are these guys that are developing Propnight? Because it kind of seems like they're playing with house money a little bit, doesn't it? Like we've made that observation before. And now
They
that
just
they have
update randomly.
yeah. Yeah, and it kind of seems like somebody's passion project a little bit. Like somebody with a lot of disposable income is like, fuck it, let's just make an Asym horror game. Let's go. And it's working out for them now, but it wasn't for a while. And a lot of other studios would have just ditched it. So now they're supposedly working on this, like you said, very impressive looking game that we're not really sure if it exists or not. It just seems like it's a strange studio over there at Fantastic. Yeah.
Well, I will say what they're doing with Propnight is great, and I'm having a blast with it. We were all hanging out yesterday, and I ended up playing Propnight just for the fun of it for like 3-4 hours straight. I was just jamming out while we were all hanging out, like just playing the game. Like it's the fun is continuing. The player base, like you said, John, like you mentioned it last season, they hit what 1,200 players, 24-hour peak, daily. It's like a daily peak at 1,200. So it's going well in terms of the horror Asym market. Like most games that got to the point that Propnight got to, where they were in single-digit player count, they don't come back from that. So
right.
You know,
I would say that the focus they're doing on Propnight and how they've basically revived that game from death would indicate that they are a real studio that are trying to make games that do well and make some money.
Yeah.
So I would assume the day before was a real game, but it's just been, maybe it got postponed because they went until Propnight's perfect, we're not building this AAA game.
Yeah. Well, and maybe here's another thing too, and this is something that I thought about independently was, what if, like, because Propnight just released a supporter pack within the last couple months, like a way to kind of support the game continually further. It's a paid game. It's got a pretty decent player base. Maybe they're starting to make a little money on Propnight. People are starting to buy prop boxes. People are starting to spend a lot of money. Maybe they're using that money to go ahead and funnel into Day Before to really get Day Before right. And really, because they postponed it to November, right? That's what they said. It was supposed to come out soon, and then they postponed it to November. So, you know, maybe...
Which I'm totally for postponing games, but I do think they could settle this controversy. They must have something they can show.
Well, it's interesting, too, that they have this controversy of not communicating, because we've seen that time and time again with Propnight.
That's all they've done with Propnight.
That's exactly.
I think
so
that's probably what they're missing. They're missing a PR person. They're missing a community manager. Someone that just handles this stuff for them on social media.
Mm-hmm. Gary?
I mean, I could give it a go.
Oh wow! Actually,
great pitch. I could give it a go.
Yeah. So
don't get too weird about it.
So 10 minutes ago, Propnight just released 2 more killers and 4 more maps. No, not really. But
they would do that though.
I'll check their website and see if they are looking for roles. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think you'd be a great candidate, Gary.
Stop it. Yeah,
Propnight continues to have healthy player numbers. The experience feels real good to play. It's fun to play. It doesn't feel like a party game, but it doesn't feel like a comp game either. It kind of feels in between right now. And I think that they're kind of leaning and I mentioned it last season. It seems like a lot of the things that the DBD community asks. Like I'm almost convinced, without a shadow of a doubt, that somebody who's integral to making decisions at Propnight, at Fantastic, plays DBD and listens. Like they're plugged into DBD. They're plugged into what's going on in DBD, and the changes that happen in Propnight are reflecting the community requests in DBD. Because Killer in Propnight was at a point very oppressive, very easy to just camp and tunnel your way to victory. And they've been progressively buffing Survivor to counter that. And it happened again. They've made it now. They made like a big shift, a big change that just happened in the last patch, where now when you stun a killer, you get a speed boost to like get away from them instead. Or when you wiggle off, you get a speed boost to get away from them. Things like that.
Smash hit sort of style.
Yeah.
But they've reduced the stun time for killers. So the stuns don't feel like you're not able to play as killer, but the survivors are still
they're focusing on game feel then. So like it feels good as a survivor and it feels less bad as a killer. Perfect.
Yep. They expanded the anti-camping zone. So when you camp the timer stops, so it's not just you used to have to basically stand right next to the survivor for it to pause the timer, and now the zone is bigger. Killer stun lasts for 3 seconds when the survivor breaks out of their grip. Stun immunity now, so you can't be chain stunned, is now 5 seconds. It's just they're just.
I wonder if they'll continue to grow as a result of that, and they'll pick up more, because as you were saying, like DVD's getting sweatier, moving in a more competitive direction. I wonder if Propnight can take advantage of this and like garner those players over. If it only had some social media presence to tell people what was going on, they could maybe grow bigger.
It's funny because Propnight and VHS kind of have similar problems in that regard. Like really, like the game is solid, but it's like they need some kind of public relations boost that they're not getting.
I mean, they paid Shroud to play their game, so
right, yeah. Never forget.
That should have been enough, I feel like.
Yeah. I don't understand how they don't have 20,000 concurrents right now.
So if you guys
VHS.
own I just was gonna say before you go, last final note on Propnight. If you own Propnight, go try it out again. If you
it's
don't
worth
own
giving
Propnight,
it's worth giving another shot. It is a lot different from when
it's changed immensely. If you don't have it, it's $5. To buy the base game, and it goes on sale for like $1 or $2 pretty regularly. So keep your wish list if you don't already play it. I'd love to see these guys. I mean, they could definitely be more organized and be more communicative, but I'd like to see them rewarded for their hard work, because the game, every time they release a patch, the game feels better. And we can't say that about every horror Asym, right?
No.
So
if only.
Yeah. Good job, Propnight. This has been your weekly edition of Good Job, Propnight.
Yeah, basically, that's we say that every week. Propnight, good job. Continue to do good. But get some social media presence. Start telling us when you're doing things, please.
Yep.
And now
that's the only thing it's missing.
Now for our weekly section of Bad Job VHS.
No, I'm not gonna say bad job.
Well, you were very like, I know. There's been a dev blog thing, right? They've done like a stream talking about
they did
the plan going forward, and you were very on, like, because you weren't in the best headspace of VHS last week, so I'm very, because we haven't heard your summary yet, and I'm quite intrigued.
I was very grumpy last week on the podcast. You guys all heard it. All right, but I'm good now. I quit vaping, and I'm completely through the window now. I'm healthy. I'm
10
getting
days
sleep.
now.
Just eruption. Don't worry about it.
I just want eruption now. Nothing matters. Fuck it. Let behavior sort it out, right? No. So I was very impassioned when I talked about VHS last season, and that's because I am starting to get to a point. You guys know that I play these games to death. Mm-hmm. The Propnights, the Evil Deads, the VHSs, the Project Playtimes. I play them all. And VHS kind of made me fall back in love with the game during the Christmas event. And I just got a little sad, if I'm being honest, with the state of the game the weeks following the Christmas event wrapping up. It was just started to feel a lot like it did before, the very, very small player base, long queues. Still frustrating. So I needed them to make a move. I needed them to do something to convince me that my hours I've invested and the hours I want to invest are worth it. And that was on Sunday that we recorded last season. And then the Monday they did a dev stream. Where they broke this stuff down. I watched it. And I'm just going to give you the quick rundown of what they're going to do, and what I think, about those changes and whether I think it's going to be enough. The biggest thing that's been asked for and that they're going to answer now is solo ambushes are a real problem for monsters in that game. The starter weapons are all silent. So there's with weapons like, for instance, the Molotov cocktail, or the RC flyer, you get an audio indicator that it's coming, so that the monster has counterplay. With the starter weapons, the Holy Cross, the flamethrower, they don't get an audio cue. So if a team stands around a corner, you walk around a corner, they can just bop you. They take one of your stigmas. You had no counterplay. And it feels bad. It makes the monster experience feel like you have to constantly be on edge, walking down a hallway, walking in a room.
I always thought it was weird that, like, the Holy Cross, for example, is such a strong weapon.
It is. Ugh. Even I know that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's bad, right? So what they're going to do now is they're going to add a visual indicator within 15 meters if somebody has a weapon. So basically, if you have an armed team, have you guys ever played Dollmaster in a game before?
Yeah, I did not enjoy it.
Okay. Well, one thing that you get on Dollmaster is if you're in one of the dolls and a team is within 15 meters of the Dollmaster, your screen gets this like fire aura around it. So basically it's like a threatening aura on your screen. So you know, oh God, I got to get back to the master so I can get out of there. You're going to have that all the time now within 15 meters. So that way you won't, as the monster, you won't ever feel like you're not prepared to fight. You'll always have, and I like that it's a visual indicator. I would love to see VHS moving further away from audio indicators because the game is very heavily audio centric in the tracking and in monster gameplay, which is, you know, it can be difficult for accessibility.
A little overloading potentially. If there's too many audio things you have to listen to and they start lapping over and it's
exactly. And then plus just from an accessibility standpoint, it's nice to know that, you know, people that maybe are hard of hearing won't have as much of an issue with some of these things. So I think it's a great change. I think it's going to help a little bit. Do I think it's going to help a lot? Do I think it's going to turn a lot of people into monster mains? I don't know. But it's something that needed to happen. They're going to do something, as of right now, they have a flux bonus for playing monster because the monster is obviously the less populated. They're going to shift that to what DBD is doing, to where it's a more dynamic bonus based on the player base's needs, instead of just being to play monster, basically. So it's going to be a lot like the DBD champ. But so basically all it's going to be for now is just a monster bonus because, I mean, I don't think there's ever a time where they're like, we need more team players. But
yeah,
that'll be a thing they're adding. They're going to have a quick play option, which basically is going to put you into the fastest queue possible, which again is just going to be monster for now. Yeah. But you know, I was thinking this is something I was thinking about on the drive today. I wish every Asym had a quick play option and a bonus. Actually. I wish everyone did. And I think that's going to be something that's going to be good for like Texas Chainsaw and for Killer Clowns because the way that it's not 1v4. Like
they're going to have that, aren't they? They're going to have people jumping into both roles.
Yeah.
God, I can't wait for those games.
Yeah, agreed. So I think it'd be healthy just for all horror Asyms to have the quick play option. It gets you into a game as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And then another thing people have complained about is that, you know, and you guys, I feel like you guys would be excellent candidates for this, is the new player experience or the inexperienced player feels overwhelmed and feels a little bit like, wow, this is a lot to take in. So they're going to add a tip. They're going to add a tip system, which gives like situational advice to players like in game. So I don't think we got a lot of details about it. I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of.
I'd be interested to see how that works because basically what that sounds like is another thing on the screen that you're going to look at, and like if you have another, because I think VHS, despite all its strengths, has one of the worst UIs, like at least on the main menu. The in-game one's okay, but the main menu is like bloody hell. There's too much going on. It's hard to know what I'm doing. I think the last thing I need is little pop-ups and tips telling me what things are as well. I think that might just be like, I'm going to turn this game off.
Yeah, I could see that.
Did they announce any plans for like the new monster? Is the Abomination getting a release?
I'm almost there, Gary. I'm almost there. And I'm gonna just to comment on what you were saying. I think it's going to probably be similar to the narrator in Evil Dead that kind of like guides you through objectives. I don't know for sure.
Oh, that'd be fine.
But I think that would be fine. But we'll see what they do. Anomaly confirmed for March, so it's going to be another entire month without a new monster and a new map, which is like
March.
I don't know. Yeah, and then they talked about a roadmap, but they didn't talk about the roadmap. They talked about the concept of a roadmap.
We've got a roadmap where we're going to create a roadmap.
Put out a roadmap. Just hit Hellbent. Just hit us with it. Just tell us what's up. Like
it feels like they're trying to create roadkill. Like release a new monster.
If you're dragging your feet on a roadmap, that means I feel like, does that tell us that they don't know what they're doing yet? Right? Because if they had a roadmap,
have they hit some, like, because obviously they had the hiccup where they went down for 3 months because of the server issue.
Yeah.
Have they hit? Is there like more going on? Because I don't know why.
I don't know.
Do they like? Is it because it's not like particularly monetized? Are they not making any money?
We interrupt our regularly scheduled programming to bring you some unfortunate news. Due to some audio technical difficulties, the remainder of the audio of this season of Spine Chill was compromised. We beg your forgiveness for the lower quality audio from this point forward, and we sincerely hope you'll give us another chance next week. Thank you.
Out of it to like pay people to work on this game, like I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's time to release it and monetize things and sell cosmetics and pump that money into devs to program the abomination so that people come in to play the game. Because you need in a market with the way Asym is, you're competing with DBD.
Yeah,
it's got new content like every month, basically.
I mean, Propnight's put out 3 new killers in the past like 3 months.
Yeah. They're gonna give us a roadmap soon, and but the monster's not soon. It's in March. And they did confirm that console is not looming. Like we've been talking about how console. They acknowledge that console is a plan, but it's not anytime soon.
Oh man,
no.
That's rough.
We're working with Steam only, Steam Epic only for now.
How are you feeling about that as someone that loves the game? Because to me that just sounds like, okay, well then that game's gonna continue to.
No, I mean Propnight's doing it without console. Yeah. I think that they can get to Propnight levels without console. I think that they need a roadmap, and I think that they need to find a way. If they can't make console happen now, they need to find a way to increase production.
Imagine if Propnight did console then.
We can't wait another. I mean, we haven't had a monster since like last July.
Is that when?
I think Deathwire came out in July, correct? Let me look up on Steam charts. It has the.
I think Deathwire came out. I want to say it was October.
Oh, I can't. It couldn't have. It couldn't have been that recent. No way.
I think it might have been just before October, but because I think that's when you like did because you played it a lot. I think that was like your month of Deathwire.
Because I don't think we were doing Spine Chill back in July, and I remember us covering Deathwire pretty extensively on an episode. I want to say it was September.
You're right. It was September, October timeframe.
Okay.
Because they announced the release date September 6th. Okay.
But still, that's 6 months in between Deathwire and the proposed release of Anomaly, right? True. So
yeah, so it's just not fast enough, man. Like and then they have a Valentine's event that is starting on February 10th, and their events are great. And I feel like I'm gonna get debated again. Not debated, but I feel like the game's it's gonna boost the player base like it did for Christmas, and it's gonna be fun, and I'm gonna love it. And then hopefully that'll be enough to get us through to the release of March. Hopefully it's early March when the monster comes, and maybe that'll be enough. I just hope that, again, this is why a roadmap would help, and this is why to me not having a roadmap now is a bad sign. Is that if I knew that okay, the Valentine's event's February 10th, Anomaly's early March, and then we got monsters planned for like April. We got a new DLC planned for like April, June, and August or something like that. Like we're gonna start hitting you guys with content. Like I'd probably feel a little bit better. But we have the Anomaly in the game already, is not going to be available until March, and we have no other information.
Like, I mean, admittedly, that this has made me a little sad for VHS. So all I can say is I'm sorry, Doug.
Okay. Yeah, because we've talked before about how like that's kind of the only way out of this, not a spiral that they're on, but you know they're not going up, right? It's not an ascent. Is to get the game on console because that's where they're going to get a ton of their play, like fully release the game, at least get it out of early access, and to learn that console isn't coming anytime soon is disheartening for sure because that would be a big boost that the game would need.
But yeah, I honestly think it would save it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Because it would just basically buy them months of people grinding out day one content. They'd be getting it day one. Like
it's also free to play. I also think the graphics style leans into casual, like younger players potentially that will just pick it up because they'll see it and be like, "That looks cool," and then they'll start playing it.
Like, imagine if they got the game on like Xbox Game Pass, PS Plus for like a weekend or something. I don't know, for a month.
Yeah.
Imagine what that would do to the player base. Instant queues, I imagine.
And then it just buys them time to develop, right? Because then all these brand new players are playing the content they've been working on for the last 2 years, like on day one. Yeah. And your veteran players might get bored and be like a little bit frustrated, but like we would also be stoked that we could play games again.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I don't know, man. We'll keep our eyes on it. I'm not upset. I just am slightly disappointed.
Oh,
Is this why you started using Eruption?
No.
Wait, you start using Eruption on Monday. And
Yeah.
that was the same day as the
Right
devlog
after,
for VHS.
I watched the devlog and immediately equipped Eruption and said nothing matters anymore.
So yeah, thanks VHS.
Oh, wow. Thanks a lot,
Look
VHS.
what you've done to our friend Doug.
I love the game. I'm not going to stop playing the game. I am still going to continue
Stubborn.
I know. It's not that I'm stubborn. It's just that the game's too good to give up on. I'm not going to stop grinding. I would like to get full progression unlocked before March, before the new monster comes out.
Sometimes it's not about giving up. Sometimes it's about choosing.
But I still enjoy the game.
I didn't give up on VHS.
When the Valentine's event hits, queues are gonna get better. If it follows the same pattern it did for Christmas. I don't know if maybe the Christmas event was better because people were off work and out of school.
I also wonder if Valentine's will
That was probably a factor,
infuse the player base the same way Christmas does.
Oh no, I hope so. I just want to play my game, man. I just want to play it. We'll see.
Speaking of games that Doug likes to play.
Evil Dead?
This might cheer. Oh, we could wait. We've got two. We've got Evil Dead. We've got Ghostbusters. I think Ghostbusters would. I know that would cheer Doug up right now.
Here's the thing. I talked a lot now, and I would love to give John a chance to talk. So let's switch to Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah, I got a lot to say about Ghostbusters. Spirit Unleashed.
You might like these changes, John. You might. There's at least one thing you'll be like, okay.
Let's hear it.
Ghostbusters is going to be getting some Twitch drops in the not so distant future on the 1st of February through to the 16th.
Is this the first Asym horror game that's done Twitch drops?
I would, yeah. It is.
Actually, it might be.
It literally is.
That's insane to me.
Unless Evil Dead
Home
had
Sweet
dropped.
Home has that done it? I don't think Evil Dead has them.
No, Home Sweet Home has not. I can confirm.
Okay,
Ghostbusters is blazing
Ghostbusters.
trails.
Yeah,
I like it.
leading from the front. But you'll be able to get the Necroplast skins, which are these interesting looking ghost cosmetics where they look a little bit like I don't know how to describe them.
Like blighted ones almost.
Yeah, like this, they look a little bit like lava and burn. I don't know. They look kind of interesting.
Oh,
they look kind of cool.
I understand what you mean. Yeah, it's got kind of like yeah.
So they'll be available. And there's a new update coming. I don't know when. I couldn't see a date for it, but maybe the 1st of February as well. It maybe makes sense to like throw it all at the same time, but I couldn't find a date. There's a new map coming out, the facility, which is, a new map's always nice. There's going to be some significant gameplay changes. These include a new opening level cinematic, because you always walk in the same way and see the same thing. It might be quite nice to have a bit of variation to that.
Yeah.
They're going to improvements to civilian dialogue, which I don't know what that means. Hopefully it means it's a bit more dynamic than just clicking the skill check. Destruction level will now increase haunt level. So when you're blowing stuff up and just destroying the environment, that's going to... Actually, Doug's very happy for the audio-only listeners. Doug's very happy.
I'm happy too, yeah.
Because like as a Ghostbuster, you can run around destroying all the environments that the ghost can't hide.
Yeah.
Now it'll punish you, so it's a good balance thing. And then there's a lot of new customization options on the horizon, which I've been waiting for a long time. They're actually going to bring in the real Ghostbusters set. So I think it's 1986. It's like it's 1980s, like the Ghostbusters show, the original cartoon. The cosmetics where Egon's like blonde with a little curl at the front of his hair and stuff. They're bringing in, and like all of their gear is a lot more bright. They're bringing those cosmetics into the game, which I think is quite fun. Egon and Janine's cartoon glasses are going to be in the game, for example, so it's making it look quite a bit more chill. It's also adding in the ability to morph facial features. So you're going to be able to change your face a lot more and make it a lot more specific, which I think is interesting as well.
Because right now they've just got facial presets that you just...
You just use the default choices.
Yeah.
And you can add designs to your Ghostbusters arm and chest now. So that's like you can put little logos, which I believe you can earn through collecting the mold and spores and probably some other things in the game as well.
Yeah.
There's new secondary gadgets coming in. The belt gizmo, which it told me in the thing, it lowers your ectovision signal. I feel like I should know what that means, but I don't.
Yeah.
But that's happening.
I can't help you.
and a disruptor pylon, which is a lot more clear, prevent the possession of nearby objects, and it deals damage to the ghost. So I think that one sounds quite interesting. It means you can lock down and stop a ghost from just like jump into objects, which has been a problem. I think that's another one of the significant gameplay changes. They're going to slow how ghosts can just kind of hop between things quite obnoxiously. So there's balances for both sides.
Yeah.
And then this is the thing that I think is the most exciting, and I think Doug's going to get a big smile on his face for this one because it made me smile. So they're introducing Ghost Remanifestation. Ghosts will be able to respawn as a different Spectre class. So when you
Poggers.
when you get beaten, you'll be able to go, actually, no, I'm going to change Ghost quickly and change my tactics up.
Oh, God.
So you can catch the Ghostbusters off by surprise.
That's been a big complaint of mine. Since the beginning, right? It was like you'd go against the God Squad, and I'm like, well, fuck, man. If I was playing on my main, I could have beat these guys, but I was playing on some random ghost that I'm leveling up right now. So being able to hot swap back to Slimer and punish those smug crossblade dicks that just got done kicking my ass, right? Now, yeah, that's huge. I love that. That's a great change.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome change.
Yeah.
There's the new Ghost on the horizon as well. So Ghostbusters looking promising, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
John,
your thoughts? Yeah. John, your thoughts?
Couldn't agree more.
Would any of this bring you back? Would any of this no? Oh, that's a shame. At least you're honest about it. No, that sounds interesting.
No, but I mean, I'm happy that they're making improvements. Truly, genuinely.
Yeah.
It's
better for that genre. Yeah.
I mean, it's like I feel like I bring this up anytime we talk about Ghostbusters, but there's always the fear of it being like a Resident Evil Resistance situation where they just abandon it, and they've got stuff planned, so that's great.
Yeah, I would say like it's huge that they're going to do a Twitch event, a drops event, like that. To me,
very promising.
Like what a hard charging dev team there at Alphonic to be like, you know what, we're going to do drops. Let's get some excitement going for our game.
Yeah, great.
Gary and I both
encourage people to stream it.
We both worried that the game would die off real quick and that they would just kind of give up on it, and like John just said, just turn it into a Resistance. And no, they're still fighting. They may not be updating it quickly, and they may not be giving us new content very quickly, but they're not giving up. They're continuing to push and then again, I'd argue they're innovating because they're going for Twitch drops, which is something that these Asyms haven't done before. Super excited about that. I personally, you guys know I play a lot of Asyms. It's like all I play, and Ghostbusters still has a really good place in my rotation for when I want to just play a chill, non-competitive Asym.
It's so much fun. I love Ghostbusters.
It is. And win or lose, it always just feels chill. It's an easy game to like put on and just kick back, put on some music in the background, and just vibe and play. Like, it's not like these other Asyms where you can't, as a survivor, you can't die. You can get messed with, but you can't die. It's just like
everyone gets to see the game till the very end.
True.
Everybody gets to play to the end. You get to, I don't know. It's just a
There's always something to go do. It's a very chill game.
It's a very chill game. So
I think if they marketed themselves a bit better towards the DBD player base, they could pick up a lot more people.
All they got to do is market themselves as the game you play when you get bled out on the ground 3 games in a row, or you get hard tunnel out. Be like, if you guys are getting tired of getting absolutely wrecked,
you want to fight back against the ghost? You can in this game. You want to beat the shit into survivors? You can in this game. Come play it.
Come play Ghostbusters. And I was actually this is a really good time for me to say this. It's something that I've been thinking about wanting to say on the podcast for a while. Is that I think we know
how much you like us. Don't worry, Doug.
No, I love you guys. One of the things I think that keeps me satisfied and feeling okay playing so much DBD is that I play these other games too. So I can't imagine sitting down to play DBD if all I played was DBD. Like, to relax. Like, yesterday we were chilling out. I went and played some Propnight. The other night I was playing VHS. I got really escalated from the couple of rounds of VHS, and I was like, I'm gonna go vibe on some Ghostbusters before I go to bed. And that helped me fall asleep. It helped me relax and get ready for bed. I couldn't do that with DVD. Like, you get frustrated with DVD. It's
not a vibe game for sure.
Yeah. Like I've been using Fortnite.
I think that's a good point, because I think so often in the DBD streamer community we hear kind of the same sentiment echoed a lot, is that I can only play DBD. I don't really enjoy DBD, but if I switch off of it, people aren't there. But I think a lot of times when people switch off of DBD on their stream, they play something like completely different. They're like, I'm going to chill with some Stardew Valley. And of course, that's going to be a huge change. But I don't often see people switching from DBD to like, I'm going to stream Propnight for a bit. I'm going to stream VHS for a little bit. Evil Dead, right? So that's definitely like, if you're feeling burnt out on DBD, there's tons of other ASIMs out there that have, maybe not thriving player bases, but healthy player bases that you could definitely check out in the meantime.
Yeah.
And if you want to give DBD some competition, the best way to do it is to stream the competing games.
Right?
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
Gary, we talked about that before we recorded today. It was like, people are always, well, nobody watches Evil Dead. Nobody watches Ghostbusters. It's because nobody fucking streams them. So stream it.
Yeah, exactly.
We talked about being the change you want to see in DBD. Be the change you want to see in Horror Asym, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. When I switch to, especially Ghostbusters, when I switch to games, like, chat and the view count do take a hit. I mean, it happens. But, like I don't know. It's just for your mental health and for the health of the genre and for the health of the communities on Twitch. Like, maybe it's worth it sometimes if you want to. I'm not telling anybody else.
Yeah.
There's no obligation, but
But if you find yourself just burning out on DBD and all you can do is complain about playing DBD, maybe don't play DBD quite as much. Take a day off.
Yeah, just take like one stream off to play some.
Even if that does mean do a Stardew day. Whatever, like I do it all the time on stream. Like a bit of variety is good for everyone.
I mean, whatever game you want to vibe with for a break from DBD is fine. But I'm just saying, there's tons of ASIMs out there that you can choose to stream instead of something like that's totally different from DBD. If the view hit and the chat dying when you switch games is an issue, because the disinterest won't be as high with the competing games.
I would probably say Propnight is probably a good shout for that, because it's
Propnight's
it's basically
it's fantastic for that. I mean, I switched to Propnight and I switched to Evil Dead pretty regularly, and I've gotten to the point where I start on Propnight sometimes and I start on Evil Dead, and still there's a little change. You're gonna have a percentage of your people that are just like DBD for life, but like it's still very healthy. Like, my channel stays healthy when I play those games. And those are, especially Propnight, like Gary said, is an easy transition. It's basically a DBD skin.
Yeah, it's like, instead of generators, you're doing
prop machines.
Yeah. Oh, it's not hooks, it's chairs.
Yeah.
But it's the same core loop, basically.
Yeah, I mean, Propnight's the most similar to DBD of all these games, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But all that to say, good job, Ghostbusters. And if you guys are dead ass, I'm going to do it again. If you're looking for a game that you want to play and just vibe out, you want to play Horror Asym, you don't want to be stressed out at all, check out Ghostbusters. Super chill game, super fun. I'm going to start streaming it a lot. For the Drops event, I'm going to stream that game a ton. I don't even care. I don't care if nobody's there. I'm going to be doing it. I'm just be me and Gary hanging out in my stream. I'm ready.
Well, there is one final game to cover.
Not a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Evil Dead.
Evil Dead. Yeah.
What's down with Evil Dead, Dog? You want to talk?
We don't know, Saber. I love you guys, and your game is so fun. But how have you only announced Ruby?
Did you just want to complain about how little there was to say about Evil Dead?
Well, I have one thing to talk about. I do. A genuine concern I have.
What were you going to say, John?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, when is Ruby coming out?
February 2nd.
Oh, okay. So just around the corner.
If you don't,
it's next week. But the problem is that we've waited a while for this update. The community vibe is not great right now in terms of Demon kind of felt like it got really underrepresented in the first season pass. And
that's how I feel.
And we've only had one new demon added to the game since launch, and we've had a ton of survivors added. And game balance right now is always contentious, obviously, in ASIMs, but with the MMR system being added, with the prestige system being added, a lot of demons that play at the higher level of MMR feel like the game is virtually unwinnable. Which, again, that's how ASIMs work, so it sucks. But you're going to have a lot of games that just feel really bad at Demon. So Demon needs something right now, because the queue times on Survivor are getting longer and longer. And we got announced that Ruby was coming out, and I heard Ruby. I was streaming when I found out Ruby, and I'm like, yes, Ruby the new demon. And they were like, nope, she's a leader. No, she's not. Like they're releasing her as a
Yeah.
survivor, and so I've been huffing the copium. Like they gotta have a demon ready that they haven't told us about yet. That's my copium that I've been huffing for the last few days. But like we're talking 5 days from now is the update.
I wonder if
Yeah.
it's like because obviously making a demon's a lot more complicated, and they're trying to churn out and keep that DVD pace of new content coming out, and they're just like, we'll just keep making survivors.
Fair,
They're easy.
Okay, but it's just gonna
Easier.
hurt them. It's gonna hurt them a lot.
Oh yeah, because
and
I'm only interested in a new demon. I don't care about survivors.
And I think survivor mains are just as interested in a new demon because going against the same puppeteer and plague master or plague bringer over and over again gets exhausting. I can confirm it.
Mm.
And here's my thing that I want to talk about. This is a concerning theme that's hitting Evil Dead right now. I've been playing the game a lot over the last week, spending a lot of time with Sinnoh playing the game. We've been doing duos a lot, and he can confirm. 1 out of every 4 games, we have an AFK demon now.
Mm-hmm.
The demons are queuing up and they're staying AFK. They're going and they're cooking dinner. They're doing whatever they're doing. I don't know if they're automating it or not, but what's happening is it's a 2-part problem because 1, they get the baseline spirit points just for finishing the game. So they're farming points, but they're also lowering their MMR. So you got these demons who are preparing for the update by farming spirit points, and they're using those spirit points to prestige or get ready for the new update or whatever. And as a bonus, they're rewarded by having a lower MMR. So when they decide to play, they can farm babies. And it sucks.
I do love how in asexual horror games, nobody wants high MMR.
Yeah. And it sucks because, you know, as a survivor player, you sit in queue for sometimes 5, sometimes 10, sometimes 15 minutes to finally get a game, and your group gets together and you're like, ooh, I'm going to play support. I'm going to play hunter.
That's worrying because that's really worrying because of crossplay, because that's VHS wait times.
Yeah,
but that has console.
No, they're not always that bad. But
the fact that occasionally you're having a 15-minute is a worrying.
It is a concern, especially if you waited that 15 minutes to go up against an AFK demon, so you don't even get to play.
Like, that means that there is a very small pool of demon players, or at least the MMR is limiting your ability to play with people to quite a severe degree, because that's got a healthy console player base.
Absolutely, it does. So yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's just it's concerning to hear nothing announced about Demon. It's concerning that they haven't really given us any information about, is this going to be a major update that we're getting on February 2nd, where they're going to like change core mechanics in the game, where they're going to rework or because again, Saber is pretty notorious for just releasing stuff and then we like not talking about it ahead of time. So they could have a huge update planned on February 2nd, and they just teased the character. We don't know. But if it comes out and it's just Ruby, and they do like some minor tweaks and minor adjustments here and there, we have a puppeteer skin they've confirmed, and we have a killer or a survivor they've confirmed, and that's it. If that's all we get, a lot of your veteran players are going to be fed up.
Yeah, because as I said in the past, like Necromancer's my favorite demon, but it doesn't vibe with me enough to make me want to play it all the time. I haven't found my right demon. I love playing demon, it's the best. But so I want there to be more demons for me to choose from.
Necromancer also came out when the game launched and had all the skins that he has in the game came out when the game launched.
Yeah, because it's the gold armor, isn't it?
Had nothing done to him since launch.
Yeah.
What we've gotten since launch for Demon is the Plaguebringer. The end.
Right. So I know that Evil Dead has like a season pass system, right?
Yeah.
Are there any ASIMs besides DBD that have a battle pass system?
Project Playtime has a battle pass.
Doesn't Home Sweet Home as well? When it
it does. You're right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I was thinking of the ones that we were talking about today, but yeah, Project Playtime and Home Sweet Home do it. But VHS doesn't have one, right?
Rumored to have one coming though.
Okay, well that's great. I was about to say, because I feel like a battle pass would solve a lot of this lack of content problems that a lot of these games are facing. Like,
gives players something to do.
It gives players something to do, and these multiplayer games they thrive off of content, even if it's like, you know, locked and loaded inside a battle pass that you can either blaze through or take your time with. As long as there's something to unlock procedurally, that would help a lot with this issue for sure. It's just an interesting thing. I hadn't thought about it until just now.
Yeah, it took DBD a while to get a battle pass too, right?
It did, yeah.
Years before I got one, so.
Yeah, it wasn't until year 4
that they got one, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that, you know, you can't just like shit out a battle pass. You got to actually like create all the cosmetics and the content for it. But
Project Playtime sure did. So
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, but it's definitely like a hallmark of successful multiplayer games.
Yeah.
Is having a battle pass or something similar to it.
It also just like brings money in, and you can spend that money on producing more content.
Yeah.
I'm very pro
like,
microtransactions and battle passes. I know there's people out there that hate them. I'm like, no, you want people to be able to spend money into a game so that they continue to make stuff for it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because especially if the game's free to play, if you just sign up for it, don't spend any money, and just play it for hours and hours every day, then the developer's not getting anything.
It's a net loss because they're paying for the servers.
Right. Exactly. It's a net loss. So yeah, you need that stuff. I know that it's unpopular to say in the gaming climate, but
yeah, we don't.
I think people are more
doesn't care, right? Spine Shell talk. We say call it how it is.
Yeah, that's right. We don't care. No, I think people are more tolerant now of it than they ever have been, but it's still like a little taboo for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, I mean gamers just want it. Oh, it annoys me. They're so entitled sometimes. Like these people make these games and they're trying to make money and they need to like pay their bills.
Yeah, I do think that sometimes it's abused, but you know, none of the games that we play have. I would say like
no, I'm not going to defend EA or something, but
microtransactions.
You know, these smaller games need to be able to produce and pay their employees.
Yeah. If we want console crossplay on VHS, we probably need some revenue coming in to afford to be able to pay somebody to do that.
Because they have to get the dev kit. They have to
they have to do all that work. That's going to cost money.
I will say too, for VHS, I got the supporter pack, even though I don't play the game, because I wanted to support DBD's competition. And I was kind of amazed at how much stuff you got for it. It was like almost too much. Because I bought a bunch of cosmetics after I got the supporter pack, because it came with in-game currency. And I bought like a bunch of stuff, like pretty much everything I wanted, and I still have tons left over. I was just like, y'all need to be like a little more greedy with this. Because now I like bought everything I want, and now I've still got tons left over for next time. You know? Yeah, be a little more greedy, Asym horror devs, please.
Yep, agreed.
We want your games to thrive.
We want to support your games. I buy everything. I bought same one you did, John. I got like the legacy, whatever, most expensive supporter pack for VHS. I bought the supporter pack for Propnight. I immediately bought the battle pass for Project Playtime. Like any of these games that come out, give me a way to spend money on your game, and I will, because I want your games to succeed and be healthy.
True.
And Gary and I talked about that during like launch week of Ghostbusters. We're like, how are you guys need to start selling DLC like immediately.
Yeah, because the game's quite expensive for a first time purchase, like $35, maybe more.
Yeah.
$40 or something. And like that one-off purchase, I would rather the game was cheaper, but you sold me stuff.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Like let me pay $15, $20 and just sell me cosmetics, and I will buy them.
And that sounds like what Killer Clowns wants to do, right? Like they want to do that. They want to go customization.
Their character customization, they're going to make so much money out of me. I will personally fund that game.
Yeah, definitely.
It's your Kickstarter, named Gary.
Yeah, Texas Chainsaw and Killer Clowns. I'm all down for the cosmetics because, frankly, you know, both Friday the 13th alums working on that, and Friday the 13th had an outstanding cosmetic game. Very good. And
it's such a short amount of time, too. They actually innovated that. They did it before DVD did.
Yeah.
DVD only had prestige skins at the start. You could just prestige and get the bloody cosmetics. And then the cosmetic shop never opened up, right? Mm-hmm. And so Friday the 13th was like, nah, man, you guys want to dress up as superheroes? You guys want to dress up as like random stuff? Like, let's go.
You want to dress up in a string bikini? You go ahead.
I have a feeling that Texas Chainsaw is going to be very on that. Judging by that tweet where they're like, here's our survivors, bums.
I'm down for it. I think it's great because people will buy that. People will buy that and they'll support the game. I'll buy that.
I'll buy it. I'll buy it all.
I'll buy that, yeah. But I mean, like we said, Killer Clowns and Texas Chainsaw, they've been in this before. They know what works. So
yeah, we talked about all the games that are out. And now this is the part of Spine Shovel where we're like, Killer Clowns and Texas Chainsaw.
And and hopefully towards the end of this year, we'll just be talking about those two.
We'll never not talk about DBD. I can't imagine.
That's true.
But, yeah.
No way.
But I mean, you know,
All respect to those
I will
games.
say,
I would love to replace Evil Dead and Ghostbusters with Texas Chainsaw Clowns.
We have journalistic integrity, so we'll continue to report the news, boys,
Right.
when new
Of
stuff
course.
happens. But it would be nice if we could get as excited about a game as
Like the hour and a half we spent talking about DBD at the start here, it'd be nice to be able to go, right, Texas Chainsaw.
exactly what I was gonna say. Is like it'd be nice if we could get carried away like we do with DBD on one of these games because
Yes.
I want to
A
get
lot
that
of times-
passion into another game. Because
A lot
we
of
all love
times-
DBD.
True.
a lot of times the time we spend on the other games is more just like complaining or different things. Like when was last a game already?
Oh no, Doug.
Doug,
Well, I'm
was it
here.
done?
I'm here. Did you guys
Sorry.
hear my question?
when was the last time?
we got excited about and raved about a game already released?
Oh,
Like a change in a game. Like we've kind of been pumping up Propnight a little.
yeah, that's mostly just because of the pop numbers and the fact that they've been putting out content.
I mean, I got quite excited today when I was looking into Ghostbusters.
Mhm.
The remanifestation thing really made me go, yeah,
Yeah.
sweet. A
I
reason
hope
to
that-
start playing
I hope-
Ghost again.
I hope that means that they'll change load. You can change Buster loadouts between games too. Like I hope that they
Oh,
like.
me too.
I want them
Well,
to slow
you
down.
already can, can't you? Do it at the cart.
Yeah, but
You can change what you brought.
oh, right. I don't play enough Buster. You're right. You can do it in game. It's true.
I'm the Ghostbusters main here.
He really is. He's got twice my hours. I'm gonna ruin that. I'm gonna start playing tonight. I'm gonna.
I don't know what twice your hours, but we'll play together, Doug.
No, I'm good. I'll play solo.
I keep holding
Well,
all the points.
I think that about covers everything we had prepared, right?
Yes, yeah, that's everything.
Yeah. It's been another outstanding season. Season 17. Can you believe 17 seasons?
I mean, we're just so good at this.
We're so good at this. That's why we're the number one asymmetrical horror podcast.
Yeah,
I agree.
And the number one
Yeah.
Ghostbusters podcast, the number one DBD podcast, the number one Evil Dead podcast,
Number one VHS podcast.
number one VHS podcast.
Are there any VHS podcasts?
We are the VHS.
Yeah,
podcast.
we
are
have
the
the
VHS
entire
pod-
category. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh
Yep.
boy. Yeah.
feels good.
Well, yeah. Thank you guys all for listening to yet another season. We eagerly anticipate season 18, and we hope that you are too. Thanks once again to my fellow co-host Gary, the Hot Cross, for joining us,
Thank you.
and our 18-time recurring guest Doug, Running Man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hetman,
Thank you,
Hetman
thank
Going
you, thank you.
Wild, Volume 2. I see you guys are mimicking each other. We'll see you guys in the next season. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye, 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 bye.
Bye. Bye.